Keeping you informed, KUAM News brings you Banking 671, brought to you by the Bank of Guam, the People's Bank, and Coast 360 Federal Credit Union. Together, we thrive.
KUAM News COVID-19 Takeover on I-94 FM is presented locally by Ambrose Inc.
GU Self-Storage, conveniently located near the Harmon McDonald's. We offer affordable rates, online payments, and auto bill pay for your convenience. Plus gate access daily from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. Call us today at 648-7867 for more information.
With the new challenges we're all facing, First Hawaiian Bank wants to make sure you have access to your financial world. With FHB Online and our mobile app, we hope to make banking the least of your worries. Visit fhb.com/digital.
We hope that you and your loved ones are safe and healthy during the COVID-19 pandemic. It has been a challenging time for all, but now, more than ever, our cancer patients and caregivers need us. Although we are apart, we stand united in the fight against cancer. The American Cancer Society Guam is excited to announce our first virtual Relay for Life. Join us on Saturday, June 27th at 6:30 p.m. on KUAM TV 8, as well as on I-94 FM and streaming on KUAM News digital platforms. Cancer does not stop, and neither can we. On June 27th, let's celebrate together and fight cancer. Visit relayforlife.org/GuamGU to find out how you can participate in the 2020 virtual Relay for Life Guam.
Healthy. Be informed with
It's not always easy trying something new. Sometimes you have to help your loved ones along. Nana is so used to her weekly trips to the bank that going online can be a little scary for her. But her grandson knows that banking online is safer and easier. So he's teaching her how to get started using Bank of Guam's online banking videos. Teaching is one way to show our loved ones we care. Keep your family safe at home and show them how to bank online. Find easy-to-use online banking tutorials at bankofguam.com or on our Instagram and Facebook pages. Bank of Guam, member FDIC.
Calling all graduating seniors. Join us by showing your class pride.
Panogitsa moru purita nonda kantai mantunat nyagi toru ilugar para honra para gloria abibai islasen para honra para gloria abiba islasen para Gitodui tempu Dan kini langit na bendisyon Kontray peligro na fansafuham Tus protehis languam Kontray peligro na fansafuham Tus protehis languam
go. You know, of all the versions of Hagu, this is one of them. With the original Floribaza Kwan, joined by Anetnagat Pago there, Hagu. Good morning, Guam. Hey, 6:22 on this Monday. Hope you guys had a good weekend. Full of gatherings of less than 25 people. I be counting. I'm that guy. I'm counting when you guys post your pictures. I'm like 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, you're lucky. You're lucky there's just 23 there, guy. It is 6:23, and welcome again to the KUAM News Takeover of Guam's favorite, I-94. Good morning, Sabrina.
Good morning.
How was your weekend?
It was good. Peaceful. Quiet.
Yeah? What was the big event this weekend?
I came in on Saturday to work on the
Oh, so your
virtual
big
relay.
event this weekend was going to work.
Yeah, I had to work on the virtual Relay for Life that we're planning.
Yeah.
So kind of excited about that.
That's pretty cool. Can you tell us a little bit more? Not too much, because I don't want you to spoil it. But this is something that you're working on. It's pretty exciting because we weren't able to do regular Relay for Life this year.
Yeah, we weren't. So we're putting together a 4-hour virtual Relay for Life program with the Guam chapter of the American Cancer Society. So it's going to be really different, but it's going to be exciting and it's going to be fun and entertaining. We've got several different things we're going to be doing during the program. Of course, we're going to be talking about awareness and prevention. We're going to hear from survivors, some of the teams that are participating, as well as some of the sponsors. They put together some cool videos. We're also going to be working on a little TikTok dance challenge.
Wait, what do you mean we?
We are going to choreograph something. I think maybe Jason, because he's really, really into TikTok.
Yeah. A little too into it,
He's extremely into it. I mean,
Yeah.
he always, we have a separate chat, me and Marie and Jason, and he's always giving us a preview of his little.
So you guys get it first.
Yes, we do.
Right. Okay.
And, of course, we get to make fun of him. Like, man, you spend a lot of time on TikTok. It's like, can you run my TikTok account? I mean, I think I put like 3 videos on there, but
I put a couple because my 9-year-old had a TikTok for a minute, and he was like, I was like, well, what is this TikTok sorcery?
Exactly, yeah.
So I got one just to kind of keep track on him,
Yeah.
and I posted like one video just to figure it out,
Mm-hmm.
and then he, the TikTok phase passed.
Yeah.
So I have a TikTok, I just never figured it out.
Yeah, I got the TikTok also to monitor my son,
Right.
And his little TikTok adventures. And he's actually really good at putting together videos, and he loves to dance. I don't even know that.
Right.
So
And there's songs that, I mean, God, we sound so old right now, but there's all the old people are up this early, so they're probably relating like, what is TikTok? I don't get it.
But yeah, it's really popular, and I'm excited actually to see what we're going to come up with. I think we're actually going to work on that today.
Right.
The TikTok dance.
Good. I got something to do today. Then.
Yeah, and we'll roll it out on this show so people can kind of like learn the.
I don't want to get tomorrow when Jason comes in. Let's get some of his TikTok videos up here and play them out for our.
Oh, we should. Oh my gosh! If
Yeah.
you haven't seen his TikTok profile or whatever it's called, it is.
You haven't lived
hilarious.
if you haven't seen it.
Yeah. So there's one we can't run because there's what is that? I'm in the house bored and I'm at bored something. I don't know.
But that's I didn't even know there are just all these dances and there's songs that are just sprung from TikTok.
Yeah.
Right? Like there was that video of that guy who was dancing on the side of the road.
Yes.
At T-Gen.
That's right.
And I just thought it was some random crazy dude. So I posted it on my social media, of course, and everyone was like, oh, TikTok dance. Oh, he's doing that. Oh, hey, TikTok. And I felt so stupid because I just thought it was a random crazy dude. Now I know it's a random crazy dude who knows about TikTok dances.
Yeah. So lots of fun coming your way.
Oh, there you go. Always. As always, And now that we've done our little funsies, let's get serious, Sabrina.
Okay. Serious hat on.
Okay.
Well, not really a hat, but
Yeah.
serious headphones.
Serious headphones. Hey, the show is proudly brought to you by Ambrose Inc., Calvo Enterprises, IT&E, Coast 360, and the Bank of Guam. It is containing COVID. As always, we packed a lot of real information, real time for you this morning. We have got a really just a jam-packed show. Some of the people we're going to be talking to this morning, we'll talk with attorney Mike Phillips and talk about the big win that came down for the Chamorro Land Trust case. Of course, we're taken to court by the Department of Justice. We're also going to talk to Auntie Zita Pangilinan from the Hadza Foundation. We'll talk with Joe Cameron. We've also got Mike Scroll of Paradise Fitness Center as gyms. Well, I know you're going to have something on that. Gyms are starting to open. And there was also a video that went viral over the weekend right on the heels of these Black Lives Matter protests. And it was a video posted up by one of our, it took me a minute this was Cuddy Q. I mean, this is a guy that we had on Live Local Fridays. I think he's a merchant marine or something, and he was here on Guam for a couple years and went off on the ship, and now I believe he's back, and he posted a very interesting video that got a lot of engagement on social media, and basically the gist of the video was, why are you people from Guam out here supporting Black Lives Matter when you're racist towards Chookies? That was pretty much the gist of it. I mean, it might be a hell of an oversimplification, but we're going to play the video, and we're going to talk with Matt Quinn coming up. And also we'll talk with Nola Hicks, who helped organize one of the Black Lives Matter protests that happened on Friday at the ITC intersection. Also on the way, we'll talk with Dave Lotz. Talk to him about some hiking safety. A lot of people are going hiking nowadays, and he was also reappointed. And so we'll talk about that as a pretty interesting turn of events. So all of that is coming up right here on Containing COVID. As always, let's start the show with a dive into the day's COVID-19 headlines from the KUAM News team. Good morning, Sabrina Salas-Mantanani.
Half-a-day, good morning, everyone. The number of COVID-19 cases on Guam remains at 179. A total of 339 samples were ran through Public Health's lab Friday and Saturday, and 0 turned up positive. There was no testing on Sunday. Again, the number of confirmed cases remains at 179, 5 deaths and 162 recoveries, with 12 active cases. Expanded community testing in the meantime continues today at Public Health Central Public Health Center in Barrigada for Palau residents. The testing is from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Tomorrow, free community testing will be conducted at Public Health Southern Regional Community Health Center parking lot from 9 a.m. to 12 noon in Inarajan. Again, you do not have to have symptoms to be tested. Just bring an ID. Again, the testing is free. At 8 o'clock this morning, more businesses are being allowed to reopen. Public Health over the weekend issued new guidance for the reopening of food courts, gyms, and fitness facilities, swimming pools, and water parks. Bars and taverns are still prohibited from opening. All arriving travelers into Guam from international hot spots are subject to 14-day quarantine at a Government of Guam quarantine facility. The new protocol also applies to returning Guam residents. The latest guidance was issued by the Department of Public Health on Saturday. Now, a hotspot is defined as a country or location with COVID-19 cases doubling rate less than every 30 days. A non-hotspot location has a COVID-19 case doubling rate greater than or equal to every 30 days. Countries' locations' hotspot status will ultimately be determined and updated by Public Health in consultation with the governor and State Surgeon Physicians Advisory Group. Starting at 9 o'clock this morning, the Guam Department of Labor's Processing Center at the Guam Community College will start accepting claims for the Pandemic Unemployment and Assistance and Federal Pandemic Unemployment Compensation programs over the phone. Phone applications will be during the weekdays from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Claimants must have an email address to register for PUA and must also be able to upload and email documents. To apply for PUA and FPUC by phone beginning today, you can call 735-0518, 735-0518 through 0526. Meanwhile, it will be another week before GDOL's Processing Center at GCC will actually be open for appointments to help those who don't have internet service and need to apply for online for PUA and FPUC. The appointments will be for 1 hour slots Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. The first 2 hours will be prioritized for veterans, Manumcos, and persons with disabilities. The processing center will be open for appointments starting again next Monday, June 15th. In regional news now, we check in with our Tomas Manglotnya, who joins us live from Saipan. Tomas.
Good morning, Bree and Chris. Here's the latest making news in the Commonwealth of the Northern Marianas. The Commonwealth Healthcare Corporation announced one additional passenger tested positive for COVID-19 last night. The individual is an asymptomatic 53-year-old male as a passenger of the May 28th United Airlines flight. He's a returning resident and was placed under quarantine pursuant to the governor's executive order, the press release states. Through contact tracing of passengers aboard the same flight, he was identified for additional testing. Specimens were confirmed positive at the CHCC laboratory yesterday. And as we reported last week, Governor Torres said at a press briefing on Friday morning that he signed off on all of his cabinet's overtime. Torres said that those overtime hours are hours worked, so he wanted to make sure their hours were calculated. So far, Torres said none have been paid. We plan to speak with the Attorney General this week. Meanwhile, we got a response from Representative Ed Probst. Take a listen to this clip. And in our interview with Ed Probst, he tells us that it should not take a taxpayer lawsuit and that it's simply unfair, most especially because he says it goes against Commonwealth laws. And in speaking with Representative Tina Sablan as well, she tells KUAM News that the special committee providing oversight on disaster recovery and federal assistance is now aware of the issue and have requested payroll records to investigate the matter and whether CNMI policies and laws are being violated. And an update from the Commonwealth Healthcare Corporation: as of June 4th, the CHCC Bureau of Environmental Health and Disease Prevention issued 42 certificates of compliance for restaurants to offer dine-in service up to 25% of originally permitted occupancy. They write that when you dine in, make reservations, limit your party to 4 people, choose outdoor seating when available, and expect to sit at least 6 feet from other parties dining in. And here are the latest numbers from the Commonwealth Healthcare Corporation's website. Again, the cumulative number of confirmed cases of COVID-19 in the Sinamay is now at 27, with 2 deaths and now 19 recoveries. And the Sinamay has tested about 7,000 of its residents. 6,365 people were tested on Saipan so far, 414 people tested on Tinian, and 462 people tested on Rhoda so far. Bring Chris, that's latest here in the Sinamay.
Thanks, Tomas. Back to news here at home. The Guam Fire Department suspended its search for 59-year-old Ki Su Ko pending any further developments or discoveries. Guam Fire Department spokesperson Kevin Riley saying GFD and other government agencies thoroughly searched the area where he was last seen from the air, land, and sea with negative findings. Ko was reported missing on June 3rd. Police spokesperson Paul Tapau says he was last seen on the 1st at around 11 p.m. at the Summer Tower condominium in Tamuning. The controversial bill to give choice for health care insurance for GovGuam employees was withdrawn from its author, Senator Pito Terlahi. For several days last week, lawmakers were debating the bill and added several amendments to change it. On Senator Pito Terlahi's social media, he stated, "Tell all GovGuam employees you know the senator is fighting for health insurance choice right now, and other senators are blocking him."
Recognize the sponsor, Senator Pito Terlahi.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. You know, Madam Speaker, and I had mentioned earlier that I don't want to allow our judge and the panel that are here tonight to treat this discussion like a public hearing. I am tired of the so many amendments. I am tired. This interaction is turning into a circus already. And I have so many respect to the Chief Justice and Justice Torres. So with that, Madam Speaker, I'm sorry to say, but I want to withdraw Bill 255-35 COR. As amended, I would say. For the last 4 days we've been talking about, and all I hear is so many amendments. I was under my feet already because I kept quiet all the way, because maybe what they're trying to do is invigorate the bill. But this is not, the hearing that we've been discussing is not a choice bill, a choice selection of the bill already. There is something going on here that I don't understand, and I don't want to keep the Chief Justice and our judges and our panel up here for this immediate recalling of them. This is not right, Madam Speaker, so I withdraw my bill so we can end this tonight. And if I have to, I'll rewrite the bill again. And then maybe I'll follow those amendments and make it right. Na mamalosti tada respeto sta. All I wanted for this bill to go through is to hear the cries of our people. Esta mamalo zo, mamartikula zo sta sa todo ay tiningunias ti siya mas maulig. Zama mamalo sta. Sa 4 dias, di ta ekung ki amendments. Anako ne amendment esta ki bill. Polo da itaw-taw matungo na josangan na distifinenin na. Na malago zo pa senador, pa bespian-pian patana lamoli kinilala ginigitanota. Lo sigita mangkungkurahi. Sigita tatulay kay tinigi. Anay ma-atsogwi, iligo kanso, atulaika. Guhatin ilaika. Makpuay nubena. Zabay nayam zo dangklun at si Zuz Masi, pano, judge kaberlido zo, sangana esta na dangkulo respeto para hamzo. Para todo dos hamzo. Para ben agang hamzo gwini na ora. pendingo medyo pendingo familia. Estas ti choice bill esta ekungong opinion siya sa babay bill. Inasun niya sa pura men. Oso no sta. Dati down na pa bay fana hamzu. Sa donkulo respeto para hamzu todo. Si Jus Masi, Madam Speaker.
On the motion to withdraw, are there any objections? Withdraw. Colleagues, I've just informed that the author of the bill has just transmitted the bill for its withdrawal. The bill is withdrawn. We are now in recess.
Again, that was Senator Pito Terlahi as he spoke on session last week, where he withdrew his bill, which would have given choice to Government of Guam employees for health insurance, and he does plan to reintroduce the measure. In other news, the Democratic Party of Guam conducted a special election for state party chair in its presidential caucus over the weekend at Adelup. Hundreds of Guam residents participated in the event, at which they voted for a new party chair and delegates to the 2020 Democratic National Convention, which will be held in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Sarah Thomas Nedadog was elected as state party chair. Father Ron Richards will be serving temporarily as Episcopal Vicar of the Archdiocese of Vigaña as Archbishop Michael Burns takes an extended leave of absence starting today. The Archbishop will be traveling off-island to undergo hip surgery, followed by recuperation and physical rehabilitation. He's expected to be off-island for several months. Father Richards will be assisted by Father Mike Crisostomo, Vicar for Clergy, along with other priests and members of the Curia. Father Jefferson Nicholas, Vicar General, also remains on leave at this time. In national news, another memorial for George Floyd took place in North Carolina. This comes as people around the world took to the streets in his name, calling for change. Natalie Brand has more details from the nation's capital.
Friends and family celebrated George Floyd's life and hope his death brings change.
A movement is happening in America, and I'm glad that all of us get to say that it was George Floyd that sparked the fuse.
Floyd's death under the knee of a police officer has sparked more than a week of demonstrations nationwide over police brutality and racial inequality. Thousands filled the streets of Washington, D.C., from the U.S. Capitol to national monuments to the White House.
Black power!
Well, some demonstrators tell me this moment feels different, describing it as a tipping point. Protesters also say they won't rest until there are new policies in place.
It remains to be seen. Once we start coming to the streets, are we going to show up at the polls? Are we really going to hold our elected officials accountable for reform? That's where real justice happens.
There were fewer signs of National Guard soldiers and police in the streets as recent demonstrations have remained peaceful. But CBS News has learned on Monday President Trump demanded 10,000 active duty troops be deployed following some violent protests last weekend. Military leaders argued against it.
Retired and current generals, what they've had to say, and they've put Trump on notice. That has brought me a lot of hope.
Active duty soldiers on standby in the D.C. region have now been ordered back to their home bases. Natalie Brand, CBS News, Washington.
The Maryland National Guard issued a statement saying it is withdrawing its forces from Washington, D.C. and says it hopes George Floyd's killing is the last of its kind. In your Banking 671 report, Bank of Guam is reminding customers to be alert to suspicious unsolicited emails asking customers for information or to click on a hyperlink to validate information. The bank reminds all, do not respond to the request, do not click on any links in the email, do not open any attachments, do not provide any personal information, and delete the message and empty your trash folder. That's your Banking 671 report, sponsored by the Bank of Guam and Coast 360.
All right, thank you very much, Sabrina 643. Good morning. Let's go to the phones here. We talked a little bit about a viral video that we're going to be discussing a little more in depth coming up later on the show. But we had a woman on the line here. Good morning, ma'am. Didn't get your name again, please. Hello.
Hi, Chris. This is Christina.
Okay,
Hi,
Christina.
What happened?
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was born and raised in Guam. I don't see color. Okay. But this weekend we were the victims of a riot. My son and his friends were just sitting in front of the house. A bunch of guys were drinking at the bus stop. They decided to mess with my son, and they took our lawn chairs across the street. And then they came back and they started throwing bottles at our house. So my son was protecting our property. I honestly hate it when people get drunk and don't care about other people's property. We all work in this household. We work very hard for what we have. And to have bottles being thrown at our house and damaging our cars. And the messed up part, we don't know who threw the bottle, so nobody got charged with damaging our cars. That's still under the bank. And because all of their family members went down to the precinct and we were told my son was only going to be questioned, my son got arrested for defending us in our property. So I'm not prejudiced. I just wish that they would teach each other not to drink at the bus stop. Or if you don't know how to drink, stop drinking, because I don't understand. It was crazy. My whole street and it's.
Ma'am, where is this? Look.
Jason Solis is my neighbor down the road. This was on Aga Boulevard. We had 2 ambulances, 15 cop cars. The neighbors were out with their bats. We are good people. We go to work. We go to sleep early. We make our money. We protect our property. And then my son gets arrested because one of the guys went into the hospital. But they were all jumping my son. And they were all drunk. My son wasn't even drinking.
What day was this, ma'am?
Saturday.
Saturday night?
Yeah, and I'm really, honestly, I know a lot of good chickies. I have friends. I'm not prejudiced. I'm trying not to be. But when they start drinking at that bus stop, I hate people who drink, get drunk, and don't care about other people's property or life.
I hate it too,
ma'am. My son got
ma'am.
hit on the head real bad, but he sent one of them to the hospital, and because somebody went into the hospital, my son got arrested. But where does the line drop now? We have this law that allows us to protect our property, but we can't do anything to them if they're standing in the road throwing bottles at our house, breaking our cars, breaking our house. Then because they're standing in the road, we can't do anything? How do we stop it then? I'm just glad I got good neighbors that were outside ready, waiting if just in case. We have lots of witnesses, but because their family members all went down to the precinct and said my son started it, we didn't know that was what they were going to do. If that was the case, then I think all of us would have went down and wrote our statements as to what happened.
But police didn't interview you guys when they came to the scene? They didn't speak to you guys about what was going on?
Yes, Miss Sabrina, they did. They interviewed my neighbors. They interviewed me and my husband. My husband broke out the gun. I was woken up. This happened around 10, so I fell asleep on the couch, and my daughter, my 13-year-old daughter, said, "Mom, there's something going on." So I jumped up, and all I saw was bottles flying, fists flying. My son got hit. I saw blood on my son's face. So I lied and yelled, "The cops are coming, the cops are coming," because I didn't know what else to do. My husband was in the road with a gun to scare them away. They didn't stop until they saw the blue lights. That's when they all ran, and some of them got away, but there was about 10, 15 of them.
Whoa.
And we don't do anything. We go to work. Now I'm so scared. I'm closing my typhoon shutters because I have to go to work, and my child and my son are home.
Ma'am, there's always 2 sides to every story. So what do you think the other side would say?
They said, I don't know, because you think about it. This happened at my house. They live across the street. This house has a history of violence. They broke a neighbor's cars, front and back windows. And guess what? If you don't see who did it, you're going to pay for that out of your own pocket, just like the dents on my car and my truck. We have to pay out of pocket because we didn't witness who did it, who threw it. We couldn't hold anybody accountable. And this is ongoing. So I'm not prejudiced. I still have my faves. I have my friends, but I am prejudiced against people who drink, get drunk, and create a lot of drama with no regard to accountability that they're gonna have to pay for it. You know.
Me too. I'm prejudiced against people who do that too. I'm with her.
So I'm not prejudiced against Micronesian. Yes, all lives matter, but they need to stop doing this behavior. It's not normal. Drinking in the jungle, throwing your trash in the jungle, or drinking at the bus stop, that's not normal behavior. We don't, as locals, do that.
Have you ever had any confrontations or arguments with this, I guess, your neighbor in the
I
past?
guess my son is a target because they were caught burglarizing and they stole a car down the road. My son saw the stolen car and stopped the guys. They called GPD and the guys got arrested. Because the reason why my son knows the stolen car is because it's a close family friend. So he followed the stolen car and those guys got arrested for stealing. And I think my son got marked from there. And now I think our house is marked. If I see patrol cars, I sleep a lot better. But it's just like maybe you'll see them come out, and then for a while you don't see cop cars, and then you see them come out again, and then you don't see them for a while. So I honestly, Olga Boulevard is scary. We weren't like that before. We're all good people. We all go to work. We make our money. We're not on, you know. It's just hard. It's just hard. Now I have to. This car is still under the bank, but it got a big dent on the side from the beer bottles. In fact, I'm still finding beer bottles throughout my yard.
Yeah. We got a comment here. Bus stop is off limits. It's a government village property. We have a bus stop. We monitor it all the time. And when things are happening there, we have the right to call the police before any damages or vandalism is done. Ma'am, but you bring up a problem that, I mean, come on, guys. This is nothing new. I've done a million stories on, the machete attack in Mangilao. Yeah. This was started by a group of guys who were doing exactly what you said. They were in the jungle drinking whatever it is they're drinking, throwing their trash. I mean, in Mangilao, there are whole...
Not Chris, because just because 25% of them are like that, you can't say 75% are like that.
I don't want to get into the stats of it, ma'am. I just want to say that
really hard.
It is what it is. I mean, there are people who hang out in the jungle and drink until they're buck wild. They throw their trash in the jungle and then they go walk around and they start trouble. We see it here in Harmon. It is what it is, and I don't think if you're saying the ethnicity of the people that makes you a racist. I really don't. I mean, if they're Chukis, they're Chukis. If they're Chamorro, they're Chamorro. If they're Filipino, they're Filipino. Just saying the race of the people, I don't think is racist. Now, if you're going to say, oh, because they're whatever ethnicity they are, then that would be racist. But merely stating as a fact the ethnicity of I don't agree. I think we just throw around the racist word. It's a little too easily nowadays.
They don't care about going to jail. They only care about the show, the drama, and 10 o'clock, I'm asleep. That's who I am. We all work hard on this street for what we own. Mm-hmm. It's scary. It really is scary, and to feel like there was nobody here for us, and that 5 guys can turn around and jump my son and beat my son up, and one of the cops going to get here, and then to tell us because they were in the road, my son had no right to defend our property.
Now I know if I'm ever going to go crazy, I'm going to stand in the road.
Don't, let's not do that.
No, we get in some comments. I don't know if your neighbor is Berdine Barson, but there's some comments coming in that they want to talk. They were there.
What did they say?
I don't know. We'll try and get them to call in. But, I don't know the details of, other than what you're telling us. But I will say that, yeah, it's a major problem. We don't have enough police patrols.
On top of it, they went down to the station to support those guys that were, okay, listen, we were on our property. We're at home. These guys live down the road, all the way down, the opposite side of the street. What does that tell you? We're looking for trouble? We're staying home. My son and his friends, they like to look at videos. They even play games with each other, you know? They weren't doing anything. So I don't know what they told the police station. They're saying my son instigated. My son did not instigate it. We were on our property.
How old's your son?
My son is 21.
And so your son's 21. There's a little bit of history between your son and this
group. One of their relatives were one of the ones that stole a car down the road.
Allegedly.
Yeah, we don't know what the outcome of that is, but the owner got her car back.
But yeah, ma'am, again, I gotta say that this is something I never dealt with this when I was
so when they
your
pass
son's
that
age.
castle doctrine law, when is it okay for us to defend our property?
You have to wait until they broke in and they're killing your family, then it's okay. That's when it's okay, I guess.
Wow.
I don't know.
Wow, that's not right.
Yeah, no, ma'am, I'm being a little sarcastic there. But yeah, this is a real problem, and it's something I never dealt with when I was 21. When I was 21, and living here, I never had to worry about. There was one time I was at GPO with my kids. I'm getting them in the car, and I open up the back door to put them in. When I closed the door, there was a drunk dude on the other side of my door. Like, I swear to God, I almost punched his face because he was just like right there. And he was like, "Oh, do you have any money?" And I was like, "Man, get back the hell up, dude." You know, and in a situation where I don't give a damn, I don't care what his personal story is. When you get in my space and I got the kids.
Yeah, I have a 13-year-old in the house.
And then you're right. It's on us to protect our families against. I mean, just out here in Harmon, it's routine. Every day we see guys who have obviously been drinking, walking around, and you could just tell. I can tell who's out to start trouble. You know what I mean? And you can see it all the time. It's too much. There are not enough police patrols. You're right. When we see the cops out there, it sends the message to the criminals that, you know, they're out there doing stuff. And when you don't see patrols, we end up with this lawlessness where they're drinking in the bus stop, they're drinking in the jungle.
And it's only when that house down there has a party. It seems like they were having a party this weekend. And if we
Was it less than 25 people,
dating,
ma'am?
why would my son allow them to take 3 of our lawn chairs and bring it to the middle of the road? My son tried to avoid it. It's when they started throwing things at my house is when my son stood up. And they hit my truck and they hit my car. But if they broke the windshield, guess who's paying for that? I am. If they broke the glass on the car, I am. If they broke my taillight, I'm the one that's going to pay for it. Why? Because we don't know who was the one throwing it. There were so many of them.
Well, we're going to try and get hold of GPD this morning and maybe find out, ma'am. Okay, and then we'd like to get the other side too, because the comments are blowing up.
Sides of the story, but the problem is, it honestly, I can't see their side. I can't. Because I'm all the way on this side of the road. And they live all the way down there. And it's not the first time they did this. They've done it repeatedly. They drink at the bus stop. They pollute the bus stop. There was even one time where there was a guy sleeping in the bus stop. I reported it to GPD. They came. They found a toddler with the guy drinking. There was a little girl overnight with this guy. I guess he was babysitting. And Simon Sanchez students were waiting for the bus to come and pick them up. This is not the first time.
Yeah. Okay, ma'am.
Okay, so that's my piece. Thank you for letting me share my opinion about all lives matter.
Okay.
Thank you.
Take care.
Okay. Bye. Wash your hands. Yeah, I mean, you want to talk like the details of the incident? I mean, we can. And ma'am, if you want to call in, and we'll try and get your side on here. But this is something that happens all the time. I mean, it really is. It happens all the time. And it, you know, I don't care if you're Chukis, Yappies, Ponape, Chamorro, Filipino, whatever. I don't care. If you're out drinking in the jungle and you're going to go beat people up and throw stuff and, you know, start a riot, and then I just don't like you.
Yes, Berdine, you can call now.
Yeah.
637-0094.
Okay, and I think this is Berdine, so let's try and get Berdine on.
Berdine, are you there?
Berdine, is that you?
Oh, half a day.
Berdine?
No, this is actually Barson.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
What's up?
okay.
Oh, Barson, right. Yeah.
Yeah, I just called because I'm hearing a lot of comments. I'm kind of like just laughing at the side because everything that she told, even other crimes that not even related to us, not even stolen cars, people sleeping in the bus stop, drinking in the bus stop, we don't do that. That's why we have our house here.
So you were you said you were there, you saw it?
Yes, because that's my younger brother, 18-year-old. Her son always pick on my 18-year-old little brother since he was 7. He just turned 18 this April. And the thing is, my brother and my younger cousin walked to the store because we have to walk through the street to the other store to the store. And then my two brother and my cousin walked over. Her son comes out because he's always targeting my younger brother. We were all just sitting here at our house, sitting with our cars, sitting because we all just came from the beach, relaxing. All we see is all of them running out from their house. So what are we supposed to do? Stand here and just watch them scattering to my 18-year-old brother and 20-year-old cousin? And she say one son? That was a lie at what she's doing. Why do you think my little brother didn't get arrested and her son got arrested? My brother got arrested that night. What came out? And then us, when we went over to her place, we had no weapons. They all ran out with pellet guns shooting at us.
So can you just take us back to what exactly happened? What prompted this whole thing? Was there a party, like she was saying? Barson?
Barson?
Barson, are you there?
Hello, Barson? Okay. I think we lost Barson. Yeah, pretty interesting.
Right. I mean, it sounds like there's something where they don't get along, obviously, and they're neighbors. Yeah. And something happened, and things got out of control, I guess, and led to someone being arrested.
Definitely not the first time.
And someone else being injured.
We'll call GPD. I don't know, maybe this is
Barson.
Yeah. Barson, is that you?
No, it's Christina.
Oh.
He's lying.
Okay.
He is lying. He is so lying. We are all the way over here. My son and this 18-year-old and his other friend that's 21, they were just sitting down. They were drinking at the bus stop. They took the chairs across the street. He's lying. They're saying they were peaceful. And yes, my neighbors were out with baseball bats. What else are they going to do? They were throwing bottles at our house. And yes, your brother got released. Well, my son got released too.
I guess we're going to have to find a police report because, I mean, I don't know who to believe here.
I'm not lying.
I know, I'm not calling you a liar, ma'am. I do know that this kind of stuff happens all the time, though.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And for him to say, what are they going to do? My neighbor, what pellet gun? My husband had to show them the gun so they can back off. What are you going to do when you have 5 guys against 1 boy? His friends were trying to stop my son. That's how he got hit. It wouldn't have escalated if they didn't throw anything at my house and damage our cars.
Mm-hmm.
And they said they were just walking to the store or hanging out at the bus stop. Let's be specific.
Christine, where was this again? Aga Boulevard?
Aga Boulevard and Codson Lucero. And the store down the road is Galilee Mart. So if you're walking straight down to the store, you pass my house. But they were drinking at the bus stop.
Okay. We just reached out to some of our friends in Manetlu, and they want to kind of check out the scene there, and maybe, I don't know, maybe we could do some mediation with you guys. Would you be down to do some mediation with the family?
I wanted to talk to the woman of the house down the road.
Mm-hmm.
I want to go there peacefully and talk to the lady of the house, because one of these days, one of our own is not going to survive if this keeps escalating. The guy broke a bottle and was going to stab my son with it.
And so you've tried to reach out, or you haven't been able to speak with her yet?
I've been, thinking about it.
Mm-hmm.
Walking down the road, talking to her, but I saw them trying to stop them. So I know there's good people down there.
Mm-hmm.
I know there's good people down there that don't want this to be going on.
Okay. Well, hopefully you guys can speak with one another. Barson, she's on the line.
The willingness is there.
Yeah, to see if we can work this out.
I'm scared because these guys don't care. The guy that was down on the ground kept saying sorry. When he got up and got to the middle of the road, he acted like he wanted to come back and fight. I was so glad to see the blue lights.
Well, thank you, Christina. We're gonna get GPD, and maybe we can, check out the reports or whatever.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Christine. All right. Wash your hands. 7:05. Hey, we're gonna take a little break, and wow.
I know that was pretty intense.
Yeah, it was.
And we're talking about crime.
Yeah, this is a crime issue, not a race issue. Okay, so we'll take a little break and we'll come back. There's a lot of comments about this, so we'll figure it out. Obviously, I mean, I don't even want to say there's two sides. There's like three sides to every story.
Yeah. Now we're hearing that both were arrested. The Barson's nephew or little brother?
Yeah, and I think to be fair, when something escalates past a certain point, when it reaches past a point, there's, you both can stop, and if you just keep escalating.
So hopefully they can come together and speak with one another and resolve this before there's any other continued violence.
Yeah, and so my buddy Ed, Ed from Manetlu was just texting in, so we sent over the address, and hopefully they can figure it out. 7:06, again, we're KUAM FM in Agotni, Guam. It's the KUAM News Takeover, Guam's favorite containing COVID. Good morning.
Locally
Keeping you informed, KUAM News brings you Banking 671, brought to you by the Bank of Guam, the People's Bank, and Coast 360 Federal Credit Union. Together, we thrive.
KUAM News COVID-19 Takeover on I-94 FM is presented locally by Ambrose Inc.
GU Self-Storage, conveniently located near the Harmon McDonald's. We offer affordable rates, online payments, and auto bill pay for your convenience. Plus gate access daily from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. Call us today at 648-7867 for more information.
With the new challenges we're all facing, First Hawaiian Bank wants to make sure you have access to your financial world. With FHB Online and our mobile app, we hope to make banking the least of your worries. Visit fhb.com/digital.
We hope that you and your loved ones are safe and healthy during the COVID-19 pandemic. It has been a challenging time for all, but now, more than ever, our cancer patients and caregivers need us. Although we are apart, we stand united in the fight against cancer. The American Cancer Society Guam is excited to announce our first virtual Relay for Life. Join us on Saturday, June 27th at 6:30 p.m. on KUAM TV 8, as well as on I-94 FM and streaming on KUAM News digital platforms. Cancer does not stop, and neither can we. On June 27th, let's celebrate together and fight cancer. Visit relayforlife.org/GuamGU to find out how you can participate in the 2020 virtual Relay for Life Guam.
Be healthy. Be informed. informed with ITD.
Calling all graduating seniors. Join us by showing your class pride in the celebration caravan you deserve through the island's major thoroughfares. KUAM and its partners want to recognize your accomplishments and help celebrate this pivotal moment in your lives. To participate, email promotions@kuam.com and let's get this show on the road. Special thanks to ABC Stores Guam and The Dungeon.
It's not always easy trying something new. Sometimes you have to help your loved ones along. Nana is so used to her weekly trips to the bank that going online can be a little scary for her. But her grandson knows that banking online is safer and easier. So he's teaching her how to get started using Bank of Guam's online banking videos. Teaching is one way to show our loved ones we care. Keep your family safe at home and show them how to bank online. Find easy-to-use online banking tutorials at bankofguam.com or on our Instagram and Facebook pages. Bank of Guam, member FDIC.
Be healthy. Be informed with ITD.
Let's go over to the phones here because, you know, I thought it was, there was something in the comments about, oh, nobody drinks at the bus stop. But I mean, what island are you living in? Like when we were working out at Custom Bree, there's this one bus stop that we run by every morning, 4:30, and there's always a dude passed out sleeping at this bus stop. And I was going to do a story about it, but it turned out that it wasn't a bus stop. You know, there's people just built a bunch of, when we were doing the bus stops, they built like extra bus stops all over. So some of them are not even used for students. But it's just a bad look. It's right on Marine Corps Drive. And you got some dude like passed out with whatever bottles. And it's just really a bad look. It doesn't send the message. So we have a lady on the line. Oh man. We had a lady on the line.
Go ahead, call back.
Yeah, go ahead and call back, ma'am. She was kind of talking about having the same kind of issue. Ma'am, is that you?
Yes.
Okay, so you have a bus stop. What village?
Sinania.
Sinania. And is it a bus stop or a bar stop?
No, it's actually a bus stop. It's a school bus stop.
Okay.
And this bus stop wasn't occupied for a good probably 20 years until my kids started going to ride the bus. Because I live right next door to the school.
Okay.
And we monitor this bus stop because I live in a school zone. And the thing about it is when people are drinking there, I call the cops right away. And that's the best thing to do is call the cops so that they can remove them from there because that is a school government property. And the thing about it is we got tired of cleaning it after, as a community, we got tired of cleaning it before and after the school hours. So the best thing to do is actually monitor the bus stop, tell them to remove themselves off of there because that is for your kids. If you know that thing is happening,
Ma'am, are you still there?
Something happened.
Yeah.
We can barely hear you now. Did you move?
Okay.
There you are.
go.
Yeah.
And the thing about it is this bus stop is for the kids and not for drinking or partying area. So if that was the case on Christine's part, if she saw that they were drinking at the bus stop, the first thing she should have called is the cops and not make it into this pick a side situation over the media. Let the police do their job. The damage is done where they both got arrested in that part. The damage is done. Let the police do their job because that's what they were there for. Now the damage to her property, she should have called the cops the minute it started. I'm just saying this because we are a small island. These people were coming in because it was not done by us. It was not done by choice. But there's a lot of good people out there. There's a lot of good people. I'm not in that kind of racist thing. But if you really look at it and protect yourself, because I will protect myself over the property around me. Because my life matters. My life matters. Let the police do their job. They're the ones that's holding that community shield on their chest. So if she wants to make this into something like that, don't let the island people, go against
each
anybody.
other. Yeah. Okay.
Because that is not right. And for you to do it over the radio, over the media, this is wrong. Let the police do their job. You already took it to the police. Let them do the investigation. If it goes to court, it goes to court. She shouldn't have done that over the phone.
Well,
I'm just saying that, Chris, because now with this thing that's going on back in the mainland, please don't let it come to Guam. We are voicing ourselves. That's all it does. We are not racist. The island of Guam is not racist. That's why they love Guam, because we have better compliments. We have better courtesy. We have a lot of good sayings about Guam. Guam is being heard all over the island now, especially with the ship that just left our island. If you ever listen to that commercial stays it on.
Right, yeah. Ma'am, I think there's something wrong with your phone. But just for you guys, she said if you ever watch the Theodore Roosevelt commercial, it shows how the world thinks of Guam. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Appreciate it.
You're welcome, Chris.
Okay.
Good morning.
Goodbye.
Good morning.
Wash your hands.
Which Theodore Roosevelt commercial? The one where they're saying
The
thank
one
you?
where they said thank you to everybody.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
Except the mayor. I don't think they said thank you to the mayor.
Yeah, that was a really nice video, a really nice testimony from the sailors. I mean, Guam really did step up and help the sailors. But again, we're talking about an incident that occurred in Dededo, borderline Jigo area Saturday night. And there really seems to be a lot of background between these two residents. So an incident that occurred Saturday night on Aga Boulevard, I believe. And I'm not sure how this escalated. We were talking about a video that Cuddy Q had posted.
Yeah, which we're going to get to.
And then it became...
it went viral.
Right, his video became viral.
So let's stick with the phones here. Yeah, we got attorney Mike. Mike, I know you're on the line. Hold him, but I just want to get Pedro on here, who we're talking about, and something that I'm pretty sure we could talk about for days. Pedro is a mixed local. What's your mix, Pedro?
Tomorrow Cuban.
Tomorrow what? I'm sorry?
Tomorrow Cuban.
Ooh. Chamorro and Cuban.
Cuban.
Yes.
Okay, sorry.
Yep. Cuban.
My mom's a Somali, and my dad's Cuban African American. And well, it's sad to say, but the lady previous that I heard said our people are not racist, and I agree with her. However, there are some people, and it's sad to say because these are from the elderly locals, that I get discriminated comments from. Like I got into an incident, the guy got down from his car and he's like, you people need to get your stuff together, although he didn't say stuff, and I was like, I looked at him like, what do you mean, you people? I'm from Guam, I'm raised here, I spent all my life here, I live here, I have tattoos of Guam. Like, how much more local do I have to be before these comments are no longer a part of it? That's my point on
No,
things.
yeah, hey, I feel you, Pedro. I grew up, hello, try being a Barnett growing up in Molesto. It's a.
Yeah,
Well, I mean, I
have to explain to my 9-year-old daughter why people are the way they say the things they do or they do the things they do. I don't have an answer for that. My daughter's mixed. And, it's hard to explain to them, like, why people are sort of got more than a few screws loose in their head. I don't know. To me, it's an issue that's been going on way too long. Even on Guam. It might not be as bad as the States, but it still exists here on the island. And it's not towards African Americans, but it's within other islands itself. Like, I know a lot of locals that don't want to kick it with some people because they're Chukis or whatever, or Ponape or Palau, or Micronesian for that matter.
Or white.
Or, yes, unfortunately. I don't know, I just wanted to get that out. Like, even here on the island, we still have some people that are not very open-minded, I guess, to say. And I felt the need to call. I actually spilled my breakfast in the car. Trying to get my phone to call you guys to let you guys know that it actually exists here on the island as well.
Hey, breakfast lives matter, bro.
All lives matter. How about that?
So what? Send us the bill for your breakfast. Bree's got it.
It's okay. It was only a couple of dollars.
All right. No, I feel you, man. My sister's half black. I got a bunch of cousins who are half black, and they used to tease us United Nations.
But nothing's wrong with that.
No, but our own family would tease it. And, there's just something, and the humor of it, we just find ways to deal with it. But you're right. I mean, is there racism? Of course, there's racism everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate, I'm just glad it's not as bad as other places.
Right.
But, I mean, it's hard to explain to your 9-year-old daughter who just discovered George Floyd.
Right.
And then you try to give them a little lesson, and, well, you don't know where to begin.
Right. And, I mean, we just talked to our kids about the COVID, and then right into this. I mean, it's a very real conversation. They're seeing it everywhere. They turn on the TV. I mean, they're seeing the protests. Yeah, and it's something. I don't know, maybe we should get like a psychologist on or something this week to kind of talk about. Because we did when the COVID, I forget who we got on to talk about how parents can discuss. Was it Dr. Ferger? Yeah. So I'm pretty sure there's probably some advice on how to discuss, the current climate in the States and everything that's going on with, police brutality and race issues. I mean.
Did you attend any of the protests last week?
No, I didn't. Unfortunately, I was supposed to, but because of this whole situation, I kind of need to feed my kids, so I went to work.
Right. Yeah. All right.
I would like to stand and protest, but unfortunately, I don't have the time because it happens during working hours.
Right. I read a story about that. Pedro was talking about how there's so many people out for these protests because nobody's working because of COVID. So people got a lot of time on their hands. But now we're seeing with you, there's a flip side of that. Some people are obviously working. So Pedro,
I mean, I would, like I said, I would like to go out and support, but at the end of the day, I need to support my family as well.
Right. Yeah.
So what are your thoughts on that video that was posted on social media by Cuddy? Is that his name Cuddy Q?
Yeah,
Did
Cuddy
you
Q.
happen to see this video?
I'm not too sure which video we're talking about here.
He was on Facebook, and he was talking about Guam is clout chasing.
To be honest with you, I don't do social media.
Okay.
The most social media I do is WhatsApp, and the reason why I don't do social media is because of nonsense like this.
Yeah.
It would just irritate me to the point where I'll throw my phone, throw my laptop.
Throw your breakfast.
To people. And truth be told, I don't mind the COVID. I get to stay away from people.
You know, you're not the only one. I might feel that way too, man. Pedro, thanks. And we're going to get Cuddy Q. We'll play the video on the show in the next hour. So if you haven't seen it, definitely raises some interesting points that you might want to listen up to. Okay, Pedro?
All right, no
Be
problem.
safe.
Okay,
Sorry
Sam.
about your breakfast.
Yeah.
All right, no problem. Thank you.
Okay.
Wash your hands. 7:24. Now let's get Attorney Mike Phillips on the line. Good morning, Mike. Sorry about that. We just kind of got backed up with a bunch of stuff that happened pretty fast. Then it ended up being like running downhill.
Oh, no problem, Chris. Morning to you, and
Good
I'm
morning.
up to breathe.
So obviously we wanted to bring you on. There was a big win over the end of last week and into the weekend. Chamorro Land Trust lawsuit that was filed by the Department of Justice has been successfully settled. And, we wanted to bring you on because you, along with the Land Trust and the leadership there, as well as, was it Attorney Canto, Mike?
Yes. Jamie was part of the team. At the end, he came back and then basically represented the Attorney General. At the end, before him, there were other attorneys, of course, Ken Orcutt at the beginning, and then Sandra Cruz and Don and others from the AG helped out all along the way. But at the end, Jamie was representing the Attorney General.
Right. And we were talking back in the newsroom about the simplest way to describe how we're able to pull off this win in this Chamorro Land Trust lawsuit. And I guess, Mike, the simplest way to describe it was we took it away from the Land Trust being a race-based program and argued that it was, in reality, a, what do you call it, a land restoration program.
Yeah, what really happened, in my opinion, Chris, is that in court, and I think those that were there will confirm this. I know the chair of the Land Trust was watching. I know Senator Therese Terlahi was watching, and others. And I think they'll confirm that it was actually us prevailing on the merits. We had argued that the program itself is in fact constitutional. It's consistent with the Organic Act, and we had a judge from Hawaii who really understands these issues because of the Hawaiian Homes Commission Act and some of the issues they have out there. So it's, in my opinion, not so much that we changed the complexion, if you want to call it, of the Chamorro Land Trust, but we actually were able to have people that prior to this did not understand it, now understand it. Now, of course, for example, the Department of Justice still preferred to have certain words changed, right. And basically, although they were not asking rhetorically, they were saying, well, if it's not this, then you guys shouldn't have a problem with this. And so we negotiated a little bit through that. But, yeah, at the very beginning, when you mentioned the win, the first impression that came to me was, yeah, I was kind of surprised that in the last few days, I was disappointed, the release that came out of the Department of Justice, and then someone from the governor's office was talking about certain problems or implying that just did not exist. With DOJ, it's kind of like I'm not sure what game they were watching, but as far as the way it turned out, I think it was very, very, very favorable to Guam, to the Chamorro people, and to all the residents of Guam. With regard to the role that the Chamorro Land Trust played, obviously it's their leadership, and in particular, Pika Farron was amazing, and I was very, very glad to have the commission as my client. I sued the governor of Guam on behalf, as you remember, of the Chamorro Nation in 1992, and I've been involved with this case since. And I was involved at the very beginning in 2017 when the United States sued Guam to basically end the program. So I've been following very, very closely. And yeah, we haven't really had too many internal problems, but we've had a few. You may remember at that time the governor at that time opposed the implementation. So we basically had to sue our own government in order to implement the program. And with regard to the Commission's view, they believe that the settlement is fair, and that the definitions, which we can go over in a second if you'd like, actually broaden and expand and more completely cover all the people that were affected by what happened.
Right, and so Mike, is it accurate to say that there are now, because of this lawsuit, there are now people who can qualify for land trust lots that maybe didn't necessarily qualify before?
Yeah, two things, Chris. There's a lot more people, and number two, it doesn't exclude people that nobody had a rational reason to exclude before. We were excluding military people that were as tomorrow as the rest of us, only because they did not receive their citizenship through the Organic Act. And there were other people that on that day that it became effective, or during that time period, were not on Guam. And the way the Organic Act is written, it only applies to the people that were here. So it was kind of a historic time-based thing, as opposed to what should be more accurately the experience under this settlement. It goes back to 1898, and I hope I can simplify this with just
I hope so too.
2 sentences. One, if you had your land taken, you qualify. Number 2, if you're a descendant of anybody that had their land taken between 1898 and 1968 on Guam, you qualify. And so, while there's a lot of words and a lot of definitions included in that settlement, that's really what it comes down to. Either your family's land was taken, or you're a descendant of somebody who worked the land, farmed the land, resided on the land. If you have an ancestor that did that, then you qualify.
Mike, is it because I was kind of thinking about this weekend, the same argument that we used to prevail against DOJ with the land trust program. How and I know the ship has sailed or whatever, but why weren't we able to apply a very similar argument to the Davis case? And pardon me, I'm not a lawyer.
Should be one.
But I'm just wondering if we're able to say that, hey, this is land restoration. I think I got you on here.
Well, Davis is different because of the fact that the allegations, for example, in the Chamorro Land Trust, involve a disparate treatment and violation of a statute from the United States, and with Davis, it's more directly related to the Constitution itself, equal protection, and all that. Although
now I feel dumb for asking.
Yeah, no. I'll tell you the difference though is maybe the similarity. The Davis case, depending on who the judge is, depending on where you're at, depending on the time that you're arguing the case, could have turned out very, very different. It's just the time that we live in right now is not very favorable to the Davis matter. But you'll see in different areas of the United States where Mr. Davis would not have prevailed. There's different areas, there's different circuits in the United States that feel very differently. Right. And so that adds to the complexity and the confusion, I think, and a lot of people justifiably wondering, hey, that's not really fair. So we live, for example, in the Sixth Circuit, the result would have been totally different than living on Guam. You live on Guam, and Mr. Davis has a view, or there's a view of him that's very different from the view of what he tried to do. If he were living in the Sixth Circuit, he would not have succeeded, and that's unfortunate. But that's the way things are. I also wanted to, Chris, clarify that there was no problem with the Commission turning over or receiving assistance from the legislature during this time period. What actually happened was the negotiations continued really up until maybe as recent as March.
Right.
And Attorney Cantor was catching a lot of things that we're not going to substantively change the commission's view or how would affect most of the people in Guam, but there were technical changes that he caught that needed to be made in order to ensure a better and more accurate agreement, and he asserted that, and the United States agreed, and so that caused some delay, and the commission, while we had a meeting, I believe on May 21st, we didn't actually sign the final settlement agreement until May 29th, I think, and or May 28th, and then it was sent to the Attorney General, and so the Attorney General had to sign, and then of course it's discretionary with the governor after that because she's a separate party, and the same is if legislation were to come through, because obviously that everybody understands is the call of the legislature. When it goes to the governor still has the discretion because she's the governor whether to sign or not. So those steps still remain. But yeah, I think there was some implication that the legislature was late or something, and I just want to make sure that's not coming from the commission.
Yeah, I know. That was coming from Carlo Brandt, so that tells you a lot about it.
Very supportive.
Aside from the new eligibility requirements that you mentioned earlier, were there any other changes in this proposed settlement, that opened the door for other people to be eligible to apply?
Yeah, there could be a situation where, and that actually was intended, a situation where we have somebody that was not qualified under the old definition, but, for example, is or should have been qualified because, for example, they were here in 1898 and had property taken, or they were here in 1948 and left for a couple years and had their land taken, and they suffered through the same experience, but under the old law, they were not recognized. They were, quite frankly, ignored, not intentionally, but the statute was patterned after the Hawaiian Homes Commission Act, which didn't have our experience. So in Hawaii, they didn't worry and therefore left out, just like we did on Guam, military people and others that happened to not be on the island at the time that we were going through this legal, I guess, transformation and experience. And so the act today will include more people, basically, as I said, anybody from 1898 to 1968 that had their land taken by the United States, you now qualify. Or if you're a descendant of such a person, and that definition is also more broad. It now includes anybody that, for example, Chris, if you're a descendant of somebody that didn't actually own the land, because we were able to explain to the United States that that's not really the way we did things here. Right. But if they worked the land, if they resided on the land, and they ranched or farmed the land, now they're qualified.
What about if you have a spouse?
Yeah,
did we
remedy that
eligible?
the whole situation that caused the lawsuit?
And without pointing fingers, I think that if you ask anybody that served on what I'll call Team Guam, they'll tell you that was those facts were so far off. They're borderline made up. I mean, that's just not true. And that did not happen with the commission. There was no basis in fact, and those that participated in the negotiations were, in my opinion, very quickly able to demonstrate and obtain the real facts. That did not happen. And so the idea that there was some race-based this and that did not happen. And it did not, though, become a sticking point. We continued on with the negotiations, but I was relieved to find out that that horrendous story had no basis in fact. Did somebody allege it? Sure, somebody alleged it, but factually, it was not true. It was and you're going to find different opinions. My opinion is very clear. It was all made up, and it was used to malign malign and discredit the commission, and it's a real shame because it's just not true.
Well, Mike, I mean, I guess just the simplest way to ask is if I had a Chamorro land trust lot and then I married, someone who was not Chamorro or didn't fall into the categories that are, because of the victory in the lawsuit, that are now widened, and then I died, would my totally not Chamorro other half be able to assume the lease of the land that we have?
I believe, Chris, I don't have to receive a life estate. And along the way, though, I believe that the commission checks at the beginning, and I believe, although I could be wrong with this, that the commission continues to ensure that that qualified applicants are those that are approved.
Right.
But that went on for a while, so I'll be the first to admit I may be confused on that, but I would check and get you an answer to that.
Are we still going to be calling the CLTC the Chamorro Land Trust Commission?
Or are we going to call it the totally not Chamorro in any way land trust commission?
The same terms and everything. There's a change in terms in one area,
right.
And I don't think substantively it affects the commission at all.
Right.
There was one concern I remember DOJ having that they wanted to make sure everybody felt that they could apply if they wanted to, and it's one of those things where they ask rhetorically, well, if it's not race based, then why do you guys have a problem with this name change, or why do you guys have a problem with this? And we didn't. I mean, anybody who's followed this case since '92, and you can read my briefs that were filed in '92, will tell you it was never race based. It was based on a political relationship that we had with the United States, a political experience that goes back to when they first came in 1898, and it went all the way through 1950, and so that's what the program is there for. That's what it's based on. Now, in terms of capturing that, using words to better define it, probably than any of us did before, land restoration became kind of the phrase of the day,
right.
And I think easily understood.
Right.
But again, it's not because we changed the commission or the act. It's because we changed the minds of people that earlier didn't understand what was going on.
So no need to change the name.
Allegation.
So the name hasn't changed.
Right.
I beg your pardon?
So we're not changing it from Chamorro Land Trust?
No, absolutely.
Okay, good.
Okay.
No, not at all. And
because I was wondering if all my Chamorro Land Trust shirts were going to go up in value.
Yeah.
They're going to become like the new PUAG shirt.
Is there any time frame that the court set for this to be changed by the legislature or adopted by the legislature?
Well, it wasn't the court, but the parties agreed that 1 year they thought would be fair. So we included 1 year, and again, with the legislature and with the governor, they're separate entities, and they're separate parties. Neither one is sued here, and so it's kind of like me saying I'll forward a document to Chris and Bree, but you guys aren't obligated to or forced in any way, or quite frankly, in our litigation, you're not expected.
Right.
It's a hope, and everybody's committed to try and for example, lobby with the legislature for their support, but they're independent, and so is the governor, and so they really have the it's not a luxury, but they have the discretion that's provided to them through the Organic Act to make an independent decision. Obviously, the Commission supports that settlement because we believe it's in the best interest of the people of Guam. But both the Department of Justice and the Commission went out of their way to make sure that neither the legislature, at least in my opinion, and nor the governor, felt that we were negotiating and not allowing them to make their independent decisions.
Right.
We recognize that they've got to make their independent decisions and look at the document on their own.
Right, Mike, that's why we wanted to bring you on. Actually, I wanted to bring you on because I saw that the release out of the governor's office about this lawsuit win mentioned everybody but you.
Yeah, you know how it goes, right, Chris?
I was like, wait a minute. They mentioned the AG's office. They mentioned the land trust. They mentioned the dog.
Yeah.
But they didn't mention Mike Phillips, so I just wanted to bring you on.
I don't get to say it enough, but and it may not be popular, but when this started in 2017, the four people that came together were former General Anderson, Elizabeth Barrett Anderson, and Senator Therese Terlai, Pika, the chair, Pika Fairn, the chair of the commission, and Governor Eddie Calvo. And they were the four that got together and made the decision that I could represent the commission.
Right.
And I'm very grateful to them for this opportunity. And yeah, whether they mention my name or not, what was disappointing, Chris, really, whether you believe it or not, wasn't that. It was the idea that I was listening to a release and it sounded like, well, geez, what game were you watching? Because what I participated in, we won.
Yeah.
And what I participated in, we were very satisfied.
No, and I'm assuming that you're talking about the policy director, Carlo Branch, had made a statement, I think, to a few island media, maybe on Friday. That's what you're talking about? And he basically implied that we didn't win until the legislature, amends the rules and regs. But I thought what was so funny about that, Mike, was that just a few hours ago, Adelup put out a release that said this is a great day for Guam and it's a huge win. And then a few hours after that, you get the policy director who, Adelup has a big problem with, Senator Therese Terlahi getting any shine at all. I mean, I don't know what it is. Obviously, it's looking very personal. But yeah, a few hours after they said, Mike, a few hours after they said this is a great day for Guam, they said, oh yeah, but it's not a done deal. So, I mean, that was in one ear, out the other, frankly.
That was the part that was concerning. When it came out of the Department of Justice, while it bothered me, I wasn't surprised because it's DOJ, and they're going to say, it wasn't really a big win for you guys. But that's what everybody on the other side says when they don't do as well. Is it expected? I wouldn't say it's expected, but it didn't bother me as much as our own people saying, hey, this isn't really what it is. And like, of course it is. It's a huge win, and everybody that I know that needed to do work and do their parts did so. And I don't think it's proper to take anything away from anybody. Anybody who watched the legislature, I think, would have seen they were very supportive. July was definitely somebody that.
Well, maybe Adelup doesn't watch the legislature. Maybe they don't watch the legislature. Hey, but we got to run. I got to.
Okay. Thanks so much, you guys. Any other questions, you let me know, and I'll get back to you on those particulars, Chris, because I want to make sure that you guys get the whole, get the whole settlement clear.
All right.
Thank you,
Thanks, Mike.
Okay, guys.
Wash your hands.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Right
on. 747. Let's keep it on the phones and go over to Zita Pangilinan of the Hadza Foundation. Hi, good morning, Zita.
Good morning, Chris.
Also, of course, Chris and Breer, we wanted to get you on, play a little bit of... are we on speakerphone?
Yes.
Okay, let's go ahead and... You want to pick that up, you'll be way clearer. So we're going to pop up these pictures if we're able to, and this is a story that we'd followed from the beginning when the Gumadzomti in Jotnia there was broken into, vandalized, they set fires. But what they say about the Chamorro spirit, it's resilient, and we had some local firefighters donate their time, their money, their efforts to help you guys kind of restore the medicine house there, and now we're ready to reopen, right? Or have we already reopened?
Just about. We're still, while the renovation's about 97% complete.
97%, okay.
Yeah, we still have to do a few things, smoke alarms, detectors and stuff like that. We don't have furnishings.
So is there a call you want to make out, Zita, there, that you guys need some donations on that end?
Yeah, for example, we need the beddings, the sheets for the massage tables. We need flat sheets, as many as we can, because we lost everything. We need the hand sanitizers, the masks, the Lysol, the disinfectants, and things like that. We try and keep the Guma Zoampi very simple and but welcoming and healing. So we have yet to get any furnishings for the lobby and the reception area.
All right,
Of
so
course, and one of the most incredible, the other healing, we need those gliders for those like who can't get on the table and they're massaged on the chairs and their feet and stuff. So we haven't been able to get that. So yeah.
and is that what we need to get to kind of fully reopen?
Yes. A lot of our clients are those that quite a few clients can't get on the bed, so we have to have them on those chairs and have their feet propped up.
What have you guys been doing in the interim for clients that haven't been able to come in? Have you guys been going to their homes?
Exactly, yes, and the calls, there's so many. So, they've been doing house calls, but, in these situations, we're only addressing the very critical clients. And then there's also the Gumadzoampi and Tumuning. Mama Chai is also addressing only by appointment, one at a time, and only for those very serious cases.
Who all did the renovations for you guys?
I'm sorry?
Who did the renovations?
Oh my gosh. Jotnya Rules.
Jotnya Rules.
Jotnya Rules, and the people of Jotnya came out like crazy, and like Josie Garrido, who is an electrician. The poor lady, she volunteered her time. She didn't realize how disastrous that whole place.
She didn't know what she was getting into, huh?
She had no idea, and then she realized that all the wires were melted by the fire. But she stood with us. She's still with us, and now I think she's going to be our member of our family. So yeah.
Right. There's a Humanities Guahan CARES Act Emergency Relief Grant program, Zita. I'm going to send you the application. Maybe this is something that I don't know. You guys can check out if you haven't already. I just sent it now on WhatsApp.
Thanks, Chris. I know that a lot of people have been forwarding grants, and we're using hands and feet, and I think the beauty of not relying on grants is that it comes from the heart and it comes from the people.
Right.
And so we are grateful for the referrals and stuff, but to empty ourselves, we have to take action. And so it's been our philosophy for the past 16 years, and that's how we do it. We're all volunteers. No one gets paid. And so the work and is we always attribute it by the grace of God, but also to the people who step forward and make things happen. It's not just us, It's the people who really care and want to do something about it and believe in it,
Zita, were you guys able to do any extra security measures, especially looking at how these people were able to break into the Guma? So were you able to secure that in whatever way?
Yeah. We got a security door, and it was such a humble place because we were very limited, but it was beautiful and it was healing. So that one's been secured. And then Josie put out some security lights outside and motion lights, and we have now the neighborhood watch patrol that has been circling our area.
Wow.
Chris, I want to take you back. There's a picture there of a place that is still not painted. The mason work that was done.
Right.
Do you have that picture up?
Yeah, it popped up.
Okay. One of the things, I left that unpainted for a purpose, for a reason. My prayer is that the people or the individual or the people that have done it will come and help us and complete the work by painting it.
Wow.
And that, we are all hurting. We all have pain, and that's where we want to relieve people of pain and to do something good, to come forward and cleanse themselves of the pain that, from this destruction. And that many times during this process of renovating and rebuilding, I gotta be honest, I wanted to give up because it was so painful, just so painful.
Have any of the Suruhanas had like a sense who may have been behind this?
I'm sorry, say that again?
Any of the Suruhanas have had any sense of who may have been behind this?
No. Imanzo Ampi, you mean? Yeah.
Oh,
no.
yeah. Sorry.
No, they have. But we all talked about it because I told them that we're being interviewed today, and they all said the most important thing is to pray. Right. Just pray.
We got to ask you here, Zita, about this news that came down last week. I mean, very jarring in just so many ways. Local healer, I mean, very well known, Colt San Nicolas, accused of a sexual assault. And now we hear that 3 victims have come forward and alleged that he sexually assaulted them. The details of this case, reading the magistrates and what these alleged victims were saying, it looks like he was, using the name of the spirits to say this is what the spirits wanted. And, this really, oh God, the comments and just everything. I mean, I don't even know. And we talked briefly about it when I arranged the call to the show. But how are you, the healing community, how are you guys dealing with this?
It's the most painful thing to hear. It's painful to hear of the women who are, who had the courage I'm grateful for the courage that they've come forward. It's painful to hear about Ko, because we know Ko. And all the families involved, we hurt each time, and every time we hear of this, it's painful for all of us. But this is difficult to bear. But again, we need to rise above this, and just like the destruction of our home, we need to rise above this and look at healing and helping through prayers, and we have to be strong in our resolve to be respectful of each other, be humble. And if love is really the true basis of healing, then we have to focus on love. And yeah, that's just so painful to hear, and all the work we're doing, and but Ko has family, and the women must have family, and that circle, right? That how painful the pain that they must be enduring. We feel the pain, but imagine the pain that they're enduring, and our hearts go out to them, and most importantly, our prayers and our love.
Right, but what about those people who now may feel like, I'm not sure if I want to visit, and get traditional healing anymore?
I understand, but at the same time, everyone needs to recognize that they all have power and they all know what's right and what's wrong. And if they ever sense that, I don't want them to come, because it won't work. Healing won't work if we're up, but visit our Zo'amtis and listen to them before they even, they can even just talk to them first before they even come, right? And realize if it's for them or not for them. But I'll tell you, the calls haven't stopped. I mean, more than ever, like, we're getting more calls. So, everyone's human, everyone makes mistakes, and I'm not minimizing this at all, but that whoever, we're all hurt, and that's why I said we're all hurt by this, and especially, just trying to revitalize, and this happens, but it must have happened for a reason, and to test our resolve too, right? Because it's a heavy load. And
do you still consider a healer?
I think one of the things I've learned, Chris, is in order to do the work we do, right? And the healers, I learned this from the healers. I learned this from my parents. Before we go out and heal others, we need to heal ourselves. So first and foremost amongst the healers is healing ourselves. And what's the beauty of our Hadza and the healers in our group in our midst is we confront each other, we hold each other accountable, and we get angry, we get upset with each other, and we still try each day, each and every day.
Zita, have you spoken with any of the alleged victims? I mean, Guam is small, and I'm hearing, I know a lot of you guys, I'm hearing that people know who these alleged victims are. Have you been able to speak with any of them?
I haven't spoken to anyone. No, I don't know. I haven't spoken to anyone. We've just been so focused on trying to get our Guma up and running.
But this victim, she alleges, if I recall the magistrate's complaint, that this alleged crime occurred back in January, and by her coming out, it I guess prompted other people to come forward. So is this just the first time you've ever heard, about or allegations of this nature come forward?
How it is on Guam. Even before the first lawsuit was filed with the church cases, we all heard about this stuff. And unfortunately, Guam got a thing about keeping some deep, dark secrets. So, we're not accusing you of anything.
Yeah, I'm just wondering, no one knew about this? Or, and again, these are just allegations. Yeah. But no one ever said anything?
We're trying to, I haven't spoken to anyone when this thing came out in terms of allegations prior. It's like it's you hear, you try and take action and to uncover and to try and address and when no one wants to move forward, it's quite difficult. So I don't know.
It sounds like you guys are having a really tough time. As you should, and that's why we kind of wanted to bring you on, Zita, because I really wanted to get someone from the healing community to talk about this, because I haven't heard anything, and I really feel like this is something that we need to talk about.
Yeah, one of the things is that we know that bringing it to the light is more healing than ever, and that it's as painful as it is and as challenging as it is, and for the women, who have the courage to bring this forward, so that we can. The whole idea is to stop, prevent, and heal, and that's that's the depth of. We have to go deep, and that's the only way we can resolve it, right?
Right. Well, thank you, Zita, for taking time to talk about this, and also.
Is there a number that people who want to donate any of the furnishings or anything that you guys are trying to get together for the Guma there in Jotnia?
Yes, 988-5333. That's Pauline Pangolinan. She's one of our board members.
Okay.
And also HadzaFoundation.com. If they click on the gift that keeps on giving, there is that page. They can donate also online.
Nice. 988-5333.
Correct.
Thank you, Zita. And you keep up, keep up the amazing work you guys are doing. Someone, I was talking with someone at the end of the week, and they said, man, the priests, the cops, the healers now. But, that being said, there are still many great healers out there, obviously so many, who are continuing to do the work that our ancestors did. And, and this is a difficult time for you guys, but I want to stand up and commend the work that you do and let you guys know that you're definitely appreciated, at least by me over here. Okay, Zita. Wash your hands. With the Lodagal. Okay. All right. 8:03. We're going to take a little break and come back. We'll do our anthems. We'll do our news. And then we're going to get our friend Cuddy Q on to talk about this video that's going around that he had basically said Guam was clout chasing for Black Lives Matter as the show.
Clout chasing.
What a show it's having today. Pretty crazy. It's 8:04, so we'll take a break and do that when we come back. It's more of the KUM News Takeover, Guam's favorite, containing COVID. Good morning.
Keeping you informed, KUAM News brings you Banking 671, brought to you by the Bank of Guam, the People's Bank, and Coast 360 Federal Credit Union. Together, we thrive.
KUAM News COVID-19 Takeover on I-94 FM is presented locally by Ambrose Inc.
GU Self-Storage, conveniently located near the Harmon McDonald's. We offer affordable rates, online payments, and auto bill pay for your convenience. Plus gate access daily from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. Call us today at 648-7867 for more information.
With the new challenges we're all facing, First Hawaiian Bank wants to make sure you have access to your financial world. With FHB Online and our mobile app, we hope to make banking the least of your worries. Visit fhb.com/digital.
We hope that you and your loved ones are safe and healthy during the COVID-19 pandemic. It has been a challenging time for all, but now, more than ever, our cancer patients and caregivers need us. Although we are apart, we stand united in the fight against cancer. The American Cancer Society Guam is excited to announce our first virtual Relay for Life. Join us on Saturday, June 27th at 6:30 p.m. on KUAM TV 8, as well as on I-94 FM and streaming on KUAM News digital platforms. Cancer does not stop, and neither can we. On June 27th, let's celebrate together and fight cancer. Visit relayforlife.org/GuamGU to find out how you can participate in the 2020 Virtual Relay for Life Guam.
Be healthy. Be informed with ITD.
It's not always easy trying something new. Sometimes you have to help your loved ones along. Nana is so used to her weekly trips to the bank that going online can be a little scary for her. But her grandson knows that banking online is safer and easier. So he's teaching her how to get started using Bank of Guam's online banking videos. Teaching is one way to show our loved ones we care. Keep your family safe at home and show them how to bank online. Find easy-to-use online banking tutorials at bankofguam.com or on our Instagram and Facebook pages. Bank of Guam, member FDIC.
Calling all graduating seniors. Join us by showing your class pride in the celebration caravan you deserve through the island's major thoroughfares. KUAM and its partners want to recognize your accomplishments and help celebrate this pivotal moment in your lives. To participate, email promotions@kuam.com and let's get this show on the road. Special thanks to ABC Stores Guam and The Dungeon.
Be healthy. Be informed with ITD.
Half a day. When it comes to applying for unemployment benefits as it relates to the Pandemic Unemployment Assistance and Federal Pandemic Unemployment Compensation programs, the first thing you'll need to do is create an account and register on HireGuam.com.
Panogit sa moru, purita nonda, kantai mantunat nyagi toru ilugar. Para ion ra, para i gloria, abiba isla sen para. Para honra, para y gloria, abiba isla sen para. Gitodu y tempo y paz para ita, dan gini langit na bendición. Contra y peligro na fan sa fuham, Deus protege Island Guam. Contra y peligro na fan sa fuham, Deus protege Island Guam.
Gabriel and Don, you make sure you get everything looking good around here. Make sure the dog got water, make sure the pig got food, and make sure the chicken got scratched before you guys go to your party. Okay? It's party time in Domianas. Let's party down on that day. It's party time in Domianas. Let's party down the islands that way. I'm from the Saipan, a junior. Come on, everybody, let's have some fun.
Get it? Yep. Castro Boys, party time at the Marianas. Well, this one takes me back. 8:14, containing COVID. Good morning.
Good morning.
And to our viewers on TV 11, also on the radio 93.9, we're KUAM FM, Agatni, Guam.
Was that a little malfunction I heard?
No, that was Johnny Z.
Oh my gosh. I wonder how he's doing.
He's probably still doing it. I know he was teaching drafting over at the... Boy, we're taking you away. If you guys remember Johnny Z, then you remember Scooter T.
Mm-hmm.
And if you remember Scooter T, so do I. And that was just one of the things that always inspired me to kind of be funny on the radio.
Means we're old.
Yeah, it means we're old pretty much. And you can't even Google it. Like, I don't think you can Google Scooter T. I don't know what comes up.
You want me to Google it?
Google
Search
just
your
laughs at
name.
you. They're like, ha 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 ha, hi day. Hi day. 8:14. So again, thank you guys. There's an audio stream, Docomo Channel 10, KUAM.com, and the KUAM News app. And last but not least, on the Edward R. Murrow award-winning social media networks of KUAM. Good morning to our Facebook live viewers. We're going to get to news and a look at the day's COVID-19 headlines in just a few. But we wanted to start our discussion this hour by playing this video here. It was posted on McQuinn's Facebook page, and we were able to clean it up, and so we'll go ahead and put this out for you guys. This is a video that we've been talking about. I don't know if you guys saw it. Racked up a ton of views on Facebook, and basically calling out Guam for clout chasing Black Lives Matter. So let's take a listen and a watch here.
What's up, y'all? This is something that I want to rant about real quick. So first off, let me just say, I appreciate everyone on Guam that supports Black Lives Matter and that support the movement with everything going on in the world. But to play devil's advocate, y'all doing the little march and the peaceful protest in the midst of a pandemic, I might add you, I honestly think that it's a reach for attention. I mean, y'all jump on this bandwagon of a trend that you see everyone else in the States doing, but the difference in the States, what y'all doing here. It's great that you guys are acknowledging that, but I think y'all should put your energy that does happen on this island, like how you guys treat Chuukese people. I'm not saying all y'all, but I'm just saying Guam in general. Look at how the Chuukese people get treated. They get treated a lot like how black people get treated in the States. So think about that. I know. Some people might get mad at me. Some people might even unfollow me. But I really don't give a because I'm not afraid to speak my mind. And I want to let y'all know that, hey, we appreciate it, like I said. But I can speak for every black person in our community. We can hold our own, okay? We've been doing it for the last couple hundred years. Put that energy towards your Chuukese brothers and sisters that's here on this island. Yes, racism still happens on Guam. To Chuukese people especially. Y'all treat them like so shouldn't their lives matter too? Of course Black lives matter, but Chuukese lives matter too. On Guam, what's going on in the States and everywhere else, that ain't none of y'all business. Focus on here. Yup, I said it. Be mad, but y'all know the truth, man. I think y'all clout chasing.
It on my Snapchat,
yeah,
and on my Instagram stories, and I said, you know what? Let me just save the video and post it to my Facebook. I want to say I posted it on Thursday. I did the Snapchat originally on Wednesday. I was walking out in Tumon, and I just was thinking about that, and I wanted to speak on it.
What has been? Well, obviously, I think some of that's obvious, but what has been the reaction, and what type of new perspective can you add to this now that you've done the video? Because you know a lot of people do videos, and sometimes when you just shoot it out there might be a moment the next day or the day after you're like, oh, I think about this, or I left this out, or I would have said this differently. So what can you tell us on that end?
Honestly, I didn't even think the video was going to go viral.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think that was going to happen. And for the reactions were pretty neutral. A lot of people agreed, but there were also some people who disagreed. And I wasn't trying to say that how do I say this? I wasn't trying to say that what they were doing was wrong or what they were doing was pointless.
And you're talking about supporting Black Lives Matter and with the protest,
right? It's great that people acknowledge it, and it's great that they support it. But at the same time, I feel like there's also issues going on here that, you know, people should put more energy into. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And I just felt like, go ahead.
You still feel the same way as even after posting this video as you did when you actually said what you said.
Of course.
Mm-hmm.
I still feel when I posted it, you know, when I say anything, I usually mean what I say. And I mean, could there have been some things I said differently or interpreted a different way? Yeah. I mean, I probably could have been a little more clean about it. Excuse my language. But you know, when you're ranting, you don't even think about it. You just go for it.
So what inspired this? Because I know that you were stationed out here. Or you were out here a few years ago. Then you went, and now you came back. Was this something that you just saw in living on Guam for a couple years?
Yeah, and I just see it happen. I see it happen in general. You know, specifically with Chuukese people, but I see it with everyone. You know, and even me. You know, I've had people tell me, "Oh, you're not Chamorro. You're not from this island. Why are you playing the ukulele?" And I've had these kind of things happen to me before, but I don't like to use that to play victim, you know. But I just acknowledge it that it happens, and I want everyone else to understand that, hey, Guam isn't perfect either. That there's still some things that we need to fix, because I said that because I love it here and I want this place to get better.
But you,
so we have.
no, but do you really feel like Guam is clout chasing?
To some degree, yes.
Why do you say that?
Now, I'm not saying that there's people who don't genuinely care for the movement, but because it was all over the news and because it was a trend with the media, I just kind of felt like, okay, this is what everyone's doing, so we're going to do it. So I feel like people were kind of jumping on the bandwagon, because let's not forget, just last week, 2 weeks ago, it was coronavirus, social distancing. That was everywhere. And now you notice that after the whole protest and the Black Lives Matter movement has risen again, no one's talking about coronavirus now.
But I don't know. I just feel like when you say that Guam's jumping on the bandwagon.
I mean, the whole world jumped on the bandwagon, if that's what you want to call it. So what do you make of that, though? Because I know at the end there you said, yeah, you appreciate it. And, I mean, what we're seeing here is it's solidarity. People are just down with what Black Lives Matter. And, you know, it's not just really, I think Black Lives Matter, obviously, is kind of the lead on it, but there are just many different issues at play here, whether it's police brutality, socioeconomic, obviously race. So when people show up to show support and to raise awareness about these issues, and you say we're just clout chasing, do you feel that that's kind of unfair to people who turned out to show their support and show they believe in these things?
Now, like I said, I wasn't trying to say that everyone is clout chasing. I know that there's people out there who genuinely do care. I know that there's people out there who do have black relatives, or there's some people who are biracial and they support it. But there's also some people out there who are just there to follow a trend. Now, if that doesn't pertain to you from what I said, then you shouldn't feel bothered by it. And I feel like the ones who were bothered by it, I think that what I said has struck a nerve because maybe it applies to them.
And now that because we were talking about this morning. I mean, obviously there's a lot of tension between Chamorros and other ethnic groups that call Guam home. How can we fix it, Cuddy?
I think we should just acknowledge that this stuff does happen, and we should just start from the inside. Because my message wasn't to be negative, and it wasn't to spread hate. It wasn't to do anything like that. It's just something that I feel like people shy away from. And there's a lot of people who felt the same way that I do, but I'm sorry about that.
No worries.
They might not have the courage to use their platform to speak out because of the backlash that they might receive. Because I got a lot of negative reactions too, and I've even gotten some threats here and there, but I don't make that a big deal. You know, it's the internet.
Yeah. Right. What were the haters saying, Cuddy?
You know, I've had people say, "Oh, who is this guy? He needs to be canceled. Is this the guy who put his name in the middle of the seal to try to brand himself? This guy is using Guam to clout chase." And I'm just like, really?
What did the people who supported what you posted said? What do they say?
You know, they support it, and some people reached out to me and said, "Thank you for saying this, and thank you for acknowledging
Mm-hmm.
that, because there are issues that's going on this island, and people tend to not focus on what's going on island, but instead focus on what's happening on mainland.
And and I think that, I mean, I agree with the video you posted. I think that, if we're going to talk about racism all around the world, then it's only natural to reflect on ourselves and, see and examine our own behavior. So and I think that, when you do that, of course, people are going to get butthurt about it, and I'm sure that's some of what we saw. But I know that even in the activist community, within the groups of people who are organizing these demonstrations and these protests, that's a conversation they're having as well. How do we confront the racism that we see every day right here?
I mean, let's just talk about it, and let's just acknowledge that it happens. I feel like a lot of people, like I said, just like to shy away from it and pretend that we're perfect. But it's okay to have flaws. It's okay for these issues to be these issues, and to talk about it, because if you attack the issue, then things will only get better. Slow progress is better than no progress.
Right, yeah.
All right. Yeah, I was just going through some of the comments. Somebody wrote, boom, the truth is hard to hear sometimes. Unfortunately, this is true, and things like this need to be called out. My tomorrow peeps who feel this way, gotta do better. So,
and we all have to do better every single day. I mean, that's what life is for. We all, every day is a new challenge to try to be better at whatever it is that you're doing. And I want everyone to strive to be their greatest selves. That's usually my message. And sometimes you have to hear the truth, because honesty is what's gonna help. And that's me really showing that I care by telling the truth. And sometimes the truth is gonna hurt and it's gonna hit hard, but people need to hear that so they can kind of get it together. You know what I mean?
I hear you. Well, thank you for your comments and
hey, welcome
coming
back
on the show.
Yeah, just so you guys, I know I don't know if you wanted me to bring this up, but this is freaking Cuddy Q on the line, guys. I mean,
oh man,
this guy is a veteran of Live Local Fridays. I mean, man, we got your cover of Versace on the floor. That is just like always queued up, and we just play it.
Man,
and
thank you guys so much.
Yeah, so
I can hear it now. You want to give us a little sample?
Oh man, you want me to sing on the show right now?
No, let's separate it, Bree.
I know. I'm
let
just
him
kidding.
do this social commentary, and then later on, maybe next week we'll get you on Stay Home Live Local Fridays or something.
Hey, after this coronavirus madness is over, I would love to come back and do one more Live Local Friday. I got a lot of new stuff too. So.
Yeah, we'd love to have you, man. So thanks again for taking our call, and we definitely. I think in a lot of ways, for a lot of people, you drop the truth bomb, and there's a saying of truth hurts. So appreciate it. Thank you, Cuddy.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
You guys have a good day.
You too. Wash your hands.
All right. Bye.
Okay. 8:27. Yeah, I mean, I was thinking about a story I'd done. This is the last version of the Malfunction show that I did. And remember, I'd gone out and interviewed Deacon Atoy and Jack Howard and other different leaders in the FSM community, and it was I'm gonna look for that, and I want to share that on my social media, because I thought it was interesting that in so many ways, like we talk about the issues that happen with migrants, and we had a call this morning, drinking in the jungle and doing all the things that we see them doing. But, it's one thing for us to talk about it, but this is a conversation that the leaders in the FSM community, they also have. And they also do things to police their own, to spread the positivity. I mean, Manetlu, God, they are working so hard.
Extremely hard.
Right.
They've been working, even during this crisis, they've been working. They've got so many different programs, and they continue their outreach going into the community. And we have... One Micronesia, our podcast that we launched after the Mangilaw machete incident.
Because we know, that it's real. There's friction. There's distance between our communities, and sometimes our communities are like this, right? A lot of times, and I think we need to be
together like
that. And for especially for my Chamorro people, because it kind of seems like generationally. When, I was growing up, my grandfather would talk about Gipalau. It was the Palauans. Before him, it was the Filipinos. And then, now it's the Chukis. There are always these communities that migrate to Guam. And remember, these guys are coming to our island because they really feel like they can make a difference for their families. Like they can get jobs, they can get education. And what's driving that? You know, for the most part, what's driving that is the same desires that we have to provide for our families. And, you know, unfortunately, yeah, are there bad Chamorro apples? You know there are. There are bad, you know, FSM apples, the bad bank, of course, right? And so I think with a lot of Chamorros, sometimes you hear them say like, oh, well, what are they doing to, well, they are doing the work, right? But, you know, the results, it's not going to change overnight. And what the groups like Manetlu and, you know, the Guam Police Department, they also do a ton of outreach. I think it just needs to be recognized that they go out and they talk to the youth. But you know what? Like I said, it's not going to change tomorrow. But those kids that they talk to are going to talk to their friends. Those kids are going to talk to their parents. When they grow up and they have kids, they're going to teach their kids what, you know, they've been taught. And so the steps are being taken.
Right. And I think what Cuddy said, that we need to acknowledge that, you know, it exists here on Guam. Racism does exist, and we need to acknowledge it, and we need to move forward and do what's right.
Right.
And I think like when we have Manielu on and with Vic and he does his podcast, those are just I just really love those podcasts that he does, because it really shines a light on what the FSM community, the FAS community is doing. It's not all this negative stuff we hear every single day or every other day or whenever. There's so much that they're doing in the community to uplift people and help their community.
Right. And, you know, I'm also to let people who come to Guam know that, hey, this is how we do things here. I mean, it's a little different from what's going on in the islands that you're from, but these are our laws. This is what's okay. This is what, you know, is not okay. So, you know, that being said, I just wanted to share that, yeah, there are efforts out there being made. At 8:31, we're going to take a break, come back, and we'll do a dive into the day's COVID-19 headlines next on Guam's favorite I-94.
Ambrose Inc., bringing you trusted brands like Anheuser-Busch.
Today, when it comes to applying for unemployment benefits as it relates to the Pandemic Unemployment Assistance and Federal Pandemic Unemployment Compensation programs, the first thing you'll need to do is create an account and register on HireGuam.com. Utilizing this button rather than the Not Registered button at the upper right login box will ease the pool registration process, as it was built specifically for the pool program. The first page you'll see is the welcome page that explains the pool program and the 10 scenarios of eligibility that caused unemployment. Read through it entirely, and if any pertain to you, click Next. Input your social security number and then re-enter to confirm. Notice at the top of the page, the eligibility section is completed and the registration process begins. In order to complete your registration process, you will be asked to provide the following: a username and password and select a security question, an email address, or if you don't have one, you will be required to create one with the link provided, your residential and mailing address if different, your preferred notification method to receive benefit notices and updates, any prior military or current military service, education, occupation, your preferred payment method, such as direct deposit or paper check. Now, if you opt for direct deposit, you will need to supply your bank account and routing number. And since these benefits are taxable, whether or not you would like your taxes withheld. When you see the page notifying you to proceed to make your PUA claim, you have completed the registration process and may continue to the work history portion of the claims process. Input your last employer data, job title, and employment information. When the system prompts you to enter your last day worked, make sure you enter the date in which your employment status was directly affected by COVID-19. For example, if you were furloughed on April 1st, 2020, but have since returned to work, you will enter April 1st and not yesterday. Complete the rest of your work history information and add as many past employers as needed. Once completed, you will be required to certify that all information is true and correct, that you are responsible to keep informed of program benefits and reading program material, and that you acknowledge that any false statements are punishable by law and could result in a fine, imprisonment, restitution, and a loss of future benefits. Read through PUA's to-do list and take note of the following. Immediately file your weekly claim. Report all income for the week to include tips, commissions, and gratuities, even if you have not yet been paid. If you return to your normal pre-pandemic work hours or return to work and make over $494, you must stop filing a weekly claim. You must be able and available for work. If you are offered your job back and refuse for a non-COVID related reason, you are no longer eligible to receive PUA benefits. And at PCOR 3, you must look for work by contacting at least 3 different employers about job openings. Be sure to upload a valid government-issued ID and supporting documents to strengthen your claim. Congratulations! You have completed the PUA claim filing process. It's time to file your weekly claim. Click on the File Your Weekly Claim button to proceed. Read through the explanation of the weekly certification process and advisories before proceeding. Notice that the weekly certification process
Good morning. It's Containing COVID, the KUAM News Takeover Guam's favorite.
The way you said that.
The way I say that? I watched Ratatouille this weekend. Okay. 8:36, a little behind here, but as always in the 8 o'clock hour, we take a dive into the day's COVID-19 headlines. And so with the very latest from the KUAM News team, Sabrina Salas-Mantanani, good morning.
Alpha Day, good morning, everyone. The number of COVID-19 cases on Guam remains at 179. A total of 339 samples were ran through Public Health's lab on Friday and Saturday, and 0 turned up positive. There was no testing on Sunday. Again, the number of confirmed cases remains at 179, 5 deaths and 162 recoveries, with 12 active cases. Expanded community testing in the meantime continues today at Public Health Central Public Health Center in Barrigada for Palau residents. The testing is from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Tomorrow, free community testing will be conducted at Public Health Southern Regional Community Health Center parking lot from 9 a.m. to 12 noon. That is in the village of Inarajan. Again, you do not have to have symptoms to be tested. Just bring an ID. Again, the testing is free. At 8 o'clock this morning, more businesses were being allowed to reopen. Public Health over the weekend issued new guidance for the reopening of food courts, gyms and fitness facilities, swimming pools and water parks. Bars and taverns are still prohibited from reopening. All arriving travelers into Guam from international hotspots are subject to 14-day quarantine at a Government of Guam quarantine facility. The new protocol also applies to returning Guam residents. The latest guidance was issued by Public Health on Saturday. A hotspot is defined as a country location with COVID-19 case doubling rate less than every 30 days. A non-hotspot location has a COVID-19 case doubling rate greater than or equal to every month. Countries' locations' hotspot status will be ultimately determined and updated by Public Health in consultation with the governor and state surgeons' physician advisory group. Starting at 9 o'clock this morning, the Guam Department of Labor's Processing Center at the Guam Community College will start accepting claims for PUA and FPUC over the phone. Phone applications will be during the weekdays from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. You must have an email address to register for PUA and must also be able to upload and email documents. You can apply for PUA and FPUC by phone beginning today. The numbers to call: 735-0518 through 0526. Again, 735-0518 through 0526. Meanwhile, it will be another week before GDOL's Processing Center at GCC will actually be open for appointments to help those who don't have internet service and need to apply online for PUA and FPUC. The appointments will be for 1-hour slots Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. The first 2 hours will be prioritized for veterans, Menumcos, and person with disabilities. The Processing Center will be open for appointments starting next Monday, June 15th. The Guam Fire Department suspended its search for 59-year-old Ki Su Ko pending any further developments or discoveries. Guam Fire Department spokesperson Kevin Riley saying GFD and other government agencies thoroughly searched the area where he was last seen from the air, land, and sea with negative findings. Ko was reported missing on June 3rd. Police spokesperson Paul Tapau says he was last seen on June 1st at around 11 p.m. at the Summer Tower condominiums in Tamuning. The controversial bill to give choice for health care insurance for GovGuam employees was withdrawn from its author, Senator Pito Terlahi. For several days last week, lawmakers were debating the bill and added several amendments to change it. On Senator Pito Terlahi's social media, it stated, quote, "Tell all GovGuam employees you know the senator is fighting for health insurance choice right now, and other senators are blocking him."
Recognize the sponsor, Senator Pito Terlahi.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. You know,
Recognize the
Madam
sponsor,
Speaker,
Senator Pito Terlahi.
and I had mentioned earlier that
Thank you
I
very
don't
much,
want to,
Madam Speaker.
to allow.
You know, Madam Speaker, and I had mentioned earlier that I don't want to
and the panel
to allow
that are here tonight to treat this discussion
our judge
like a public
and
hearing.
the panel that are here
I am
tonight
tired
to treat this
of the so many
discussion
amendments. I am tired.
like a public
this,
hearing.
This
I am
interaction
tired
is turning into a circus already.
of the so many amendments. I am tired.
I have so many respect
This interaction is
to the
turning
Chief
into a
Justice
circus
and
already. And I have a
Justice.
I have so many respect
So with that,
to the
Madam
Chief
Speaker,
Justice
I'm sorry
and
to say, but I want
Justice
to withdraw Bill
Torres.
255-35.
So with that, Madam Speaker, I'm sorry to
As
say,
amended,
but
I will say,
I want to withdraw
for the last
Bill
4 days, we've been talking about an hour
255-35
here
COR.
and so many amendments.
As amended, I would say. For the last 4 days,
Under
we've
my
been
feet
talking about
already
an all I
because
hear
I
is so
kept
many
quiet all
amendments.
the way because maybe what they're trying to do is invigorate
I was
the bill.
under my feet already because
But
I
this is
kept
not
quiet all the way because
The
maybe
hearing that we've
what
been
they're trying to do is
discussing
invigorate
not
the bill.
a choice bill, a choice.
But this is
selection
not
of the bill already.
the hearing that we've been discussing is not a choice bill, a choice selection of the bill already. There is something going on here that I don't understand, and I don't want to keep the Chief Justice and our judges and our panel up here for this immediate recalling of them. This is not right, Madam Speaker, so I withdraw my bill so we can end this tonight. And if I have to, I'll rewrite the bill again. And then maybe I'll follow those amendments and make it right. Not mamalos ti tada respetos ta. All I wanted for this bill to go through is to hear the cries of our people. Esta mamalo zo, mamatikula zo sta sa todo ay tiningunias ti siya mas maulig. Zama mamalo husta. Sa 4 dias, di ta ekungog yung amendments. Anako na amendment está ki bill. Polo da itaw-taw matungo na dosangan na distifinenin na. Na malago zo pa senidor, pa bespian-pian patana lamoli kinilala ginigitanota. Lo sigita mangkungkurahi. Sigita tatulay kay tinigi. Anay ma-atsogwi, iligo kanso, atulay ka. Guhatin nilay ka. Makpuay, nubena. Zabay na yam zo dangkulun na si Zuz Masi, pano, judge kaberlido zo, sangana esta na dangkulun respeto para hamzo. Para todo dos hamzo. Para ben agang hamzo gwini na ora. Pendingo, igumamizo, pendingo familia. Esta stiti, choice bill está ta ekungong na ta ekungong opinion siya sa babay bill inasun niya sa pura amendment o sunong sta dati jang na pa bay fana hamzo sa dongkulo respeto para hamzo todo si Jus Masi, Madam Speaker.
On the motion to withdraw, are there any objections? Colleagues, I've just informed that the author of the bill has just transmitted the bill for its withdrawal.
Episcopal Vicar of the Archdiocese of Viganía, as Archbishop Michael Burns takes an extended leave of absence starting today. The Archbishop will be traveling off island to undergo hip surgery, followed by recuperation and physical rehabilitation. He's expected to be off island for several months. Father Richards will be assisted by Father Mike Chrysostomo, Vicar for Clergy, along with our priests and members of the Curia. Father Jefferson Nicholas, Vicar General, also remains on leave at this time. In national news, another memorial for George Floyd took place in North Carolina. This comes as people around the world took to the streets in his name, calling for change. Natalie Brand has more details from the nation's capital.
Friends and family celebrated George Floyd's life and hope his death brings change.
A movement is happening in America, and I'm glad that all of us get to say that it was George Floyd that sparked the fuse.
Floyd's death under the knee of a police officer has sparked more than a week of demonstrations nationwide over police brutality and racial inequality. Thousands filled the streets of Washington, D.C., from the U.S. Capitol to national monuments to the White House.
Black power!
Well, some demonstrators tell me this moment feels different, describing it as a tipping point. Protesters also say they won't rest until there are new policies in place.
It remains to be seen. Once we start coming to the streets, are we going to show up at the polls? Are we really going to hold our elected officials accountable for reform? That's where real justice happens.
There were fewer signs of National Guard soldiers and police in the streets as recent demonstrations have remained peaceful. But CBS News has learned on Monday President Trump demanded 10,000 active duty troops be deployed following some violent protests last weekend. Military leaders argued against it.
Retired and current generals, what they've had to say, and they've put Trump on notice. That has brought me a lot of hope.
Active duty soldiers on standby in the D.C. region have now been ordered back to their home bases. Natalie Brand, CBS News, Washington.
It is withdrawing its forces from Washington, D.C. and says it hopes George Floyd's killing is the last of its kind. In your Banking 671 report, Bank of Guam is reminding customers to be alert to suspicious unsolicited emails, asking customers for information to click on a hyperlink to validate information. The bank reminds all, do not respond to the request, do not click on any links in the email, don't open any attachments, and don't provide any personal information, and delete the message and empty your trash folder. That is your Banking 671 report, sponsored by the Bank of Guam and Coast 360.
All right, thank you very much. 8:47. Good morning again. And it's containing COVID, the KUM News takeover of Guam's favorite. Coming up, we'll catch up with Nola Hicks, who, of course, helped organize the Black Lives Matter peaceful demonstration, to which the chief of police was one of the people who showed up to support that protest. Did you see it?
I saw the picture you sent me, yeah. But I also saw some other pictures that were quite interesting.
There was one like... There's one like abolish the police or
abolish the cops. I didn't understand
that's ridiculous. Pretty ridiculous. Yeah, so there was someone actually at that protest with a sign that I think it said abolish the police.
Maybe it was. No, I think it was abolish the
Or was
cops.
that Saipan?
Let me check. It might have been here. I think.
It's on the KUM News Instagram. I follow at KUM News Instagram for the very latest.
Mm-hmm. Let me see if I there it is. It was. Oh yeah, that's definitely
abolish
here.
Police. Yeah. That's a dumb sign. I mean, come on.
It's nice that it's on it's very creative.
It
it's
is
on
really,
dude. On
like
a leaf,
this
banana
sign.
leaf.
I know we can't pop it up here, but if you go on the KUM News Instagram, there's a picture of two ladies. One of them has a sign that says "Abolish the police."
Yeah.
And one of my friends over the weekend was like, "Hey, they should have asked the chief of police how he felt being at a protest with signs that said "Abolish police."
Yeah, and people were kind of vocal about this particular sign.
What were they saying, Bree?
Abolish police, just great. LOL, someone has to win the dumbest sign award, but I'm certain that she has a bright idea for who would take over police functions. I hope she comes on here and enlightens us. Oh, man. Did I just see abolish the police? She looks like the first one to call 911. Oh man, this is bad.
She's gonna be the first Karen to call 911 when something doesn't go her way.
Unfollowing KUAM for posting anti-police content.
Oh, come on
Good luck,
now.
Guam. You need it. Come on now. Not all cops are bad. We can't abolish police. The perpetrators were caught for the death of Mr. Floyd. Hope he gets the justice he deserves. Let's not abolish the police. She knows what that means, right?
Yeah, so you get the gist. Yeah, so we'll catch up with Nola. Obviously, there were so many other things at the protest.
There were so many signs. I didn't even see that until I saw it on
our Instagram.
I'm like, somebody held a sign that said abolish police.
Right.
Wow.
8:49. You know, we had played the clip from Senator Pito Terlahi just a few minutes ago. Very emotional.
Yeah.
Very emotional plea. And this was something that came down Friday. I was able
Friday
to,
night?
Friday night.
Of course, Friday night.
Yeah.
When nobody's watching.
Around 7. And what had happened was there was an effort made to include the judiciary of Guam in the government of Guam's health insurance contract. And so I guess someone had said, well, let's ask the judges how they feel about that. And they had summoned the Chief Justice and then also Justice Bob Torres to the Guam legislature. And then I think the Chief Justice had said something along the lines of, yeah, we got the numbers, we'll get whatever you guys need, and we can come back next week. But then Senator Mary Torres had said, hey, no, we have, and it's kind of funny because one of the judges on the panel was her husband, but she was like, hey, we have these awesome judges here, just such great judging, they're here, so we might as well ask them the questions now. And so...
but this amendment was proffered by who?
I think it was, I want to say Senator San Augustine.
But the judiciary isn't a part of the current.
They're not. They're doing their own thing. And so that's when Senator Pito had gone on and basically he's like, wait a minute. He said, I'm embarrassed that we called these guys down here at this hour. I have a lot of respect for them. I don't want to put them through anything else. And I withdraw the bill. And he had said that, the amendments, he was tired of all the amendments. There were more amendments. It basically said that the bill, which started out at something as simple as giving the Go Guam employees and retirees a choice in their health insurance, that had gotten so far away from that original intent that it caused the senator, considering that, and also, I guess, not wanting to inconvenience the judges on a Friday night, that forces, he just withdrew the bill. It was kind of like random, out of left field. I was like, what just happened? And we want to bring on Joe Cameron here, who had a interesting column in the Post. Joe, and I guess just first of all, what did you make of that turn of events Friday night? Because it was kind of curveball was what I thought. I just was watching, and then I was like, oh, they're going to ask some questions. And then Senator Pito was like, oh, wait a minute.
And also, you actually testified, is that correct, on this bill when it went up for a public hearing, and is a former member, I'm not sure how long ago, of the Gov Guam health negotiation team?
Yes, of course. I sat on several of them.
Right.
So I think what's going on here is we I don't know why anybody would call the courts in whenever they already have choice, and why would you ask them to relinquish it? It's like it's a charade of sorts, and you know what? When we say the court is doing their own thing, but of course they're practicing choice, isn't it?
By doing their own thing.
Yeah. So what are we using the word sabotage? Do you think that this was an effort to sabotage this choice bill to call in the courts?
Let's put it in a few words. Remember the Greyhound here, the racetrack?
Yeah.
Well, if you've ever watched the Greyhound run, they have like a proverbial rabbit. It's in front of them, and they never catch the rabbit. This bill is one of them. It was a proverbial carrot of sorts, which just ended up with a large amount of amendments, larger than life. The bill itself was simple. The wording was simple. It was changed dramatically. Nowadays you just can't, as an elected official, do too much posturing. It's not a smart move these days. The electorate watched, and especially since we're home, Most of us were home, and we want to know, and thousands of folks who are Gulf Guam employees. But more importantly, I think it is important, Sabina and Chris, that we do have a great demand nowadays for better care. And I want to talk about private industry, if you don't mind.
Mm-hmm.
I think private industry, if you look at private industry, the majority of them a lot of them don't even insure the employees. And here we are, we're ratio rich here in comparison because we have thousands. So the pool is greater. But I worry because when costs escalate, the taxpayers of Guam pay for that. So whatever was presupposed as an $11 million increase could escalate to $40 million with our current insurance situation. This is shouldered by the people of Guam. And I believe, we've always had this for years until the last legislature killed it. We've always had choice. And in doing so, people compete in a level playing field saying, okay, we want some of this pool. So they lower their rates. It's just naturally that way. But this is not what's going on now in Guam, especially for the huge pool of government Guam employees. It's phenomenal. This responsibility that you throw in the laps of, the healthcare insurance negotiator for thousands and thousands of people. And then, you say, okay, well, they did a bad thing. Well, guess what? They were just doing what the law told them to do. You can't fault the insurance negotiation folks or the Department of Administration. It's the lawmakers' responsibility to bring back this choice. And Friday, as most of us saw it, it went awry. The legislative session went awry, setting choice to the back burner as though seemingly and purposely, as you so stated, sabotage. And this is the exact words of Senator Peter Terlai. It seemed that the author was really voicing disappointment of this bill, the demise of this bill. And so we are dissatisfied as Guam employees. I want to say the majority of us. Some of us are not out there speaking loudly, but I've received left and right all kinds of emails and texts just this morning from the Post article that I wrote, letter to the editor. I'm inundated. And people are saying, come on, guys, we had this before. What was wrong with it? It wasn't broken. Why didn't you break it?
Well, I think also what happened, Joe, is that this was something that they started discussing on Monday, and I don't know if anyone saw it coming. I'm not saying it wasn't on the agenda or anything, but people were just kind of blindsided by it, and the debate turned into something running downhill for 4 days where everybody and their cousin was trying to tack on amendments.
I've worked for 3 senators. I've worked for 4 governors. I've done a lot here in Guam for the public. And I have never seen anything like it in my 35 plus years.
I think there was a homeless guy walking by the legislature, and they're like, hey, you got an amendment you want to throw on here?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
What do you think is happening here?
I think what's happening is that there's pressures from different directions. I don't know what pressures they may be, but there must be pressures for these folks to act the way they did. It's kind of like protecting the golden egg. I don't know what the golden egg is, but I think the golden egg should be the people of Guam. Mm-hmm. And that the people of Guam are really concerned as a general. Just because you're a Gulf Guam employee doesn't mean you're a Gulf Guam employee. Come on, you got kids who work in private sector, for God's sakes, and they're affected as well. So you know what? I think we got to go back to basics. Give the choice issue back. Give it back. Come on. There's no exclusivity provider that we're looking for. We're not looking for anything other than what is rightfully our choice. It's a moral issue to me to be able to make such a decision on behalf of my family, and everybody else that's couching on this. You guys are in private sector. I'm in private sector. I feel the pain of the private sector. We're the ones that hurt so much. I'll give you an example. I'm on furlough. Okay, I'm on furlough. I work for private sector. I haven't worked since March 20th. But thank God that I'm a retiree and I have insurance. But what about those folks who have no insurance to begin with, or who have no income to begin with? And we're looking at the fat cash cow here, which is Guam. And I hate to say it, but it's true. There's disparity in this community, and it's mounting. It's mounting surmountably. It's It's crazy. It's total lunacy. And you know what? I don't want to say which senator screwed up or which senator did well. That's not for me to say. The electorate come November will say a lot more than I would ever as a single voice.
Mm-hmm.
We got to take care of the people of Guam. Mm-hmm. The private sector is in pain. The Guam employees are also in pain when it comes to health care. Mm-hmm. We've got to balance this out. Competition is what I'm looking for. I'm not looking for exclusive. I don't want exclusivity. I don't want it. It hurts me. It hurts the people of Guam. It hurts the government family. Right. And I think it's terrible. It is just absolutely terrible.
Right. And you know what's also terrible is the fact that you have the Mayor's Council of Guam who are there on the front lines. They know what their community wants and their constituents. And they passed this resolution encouraging and urging senators to give choice. And yet their voices weren't heard. And you see all of this stuff that happened on session floor where all these changes were happening. And then Senator Pito Terlai was like, enough is enough. Now he's going to have to go back to the drawing board, introduce another bill. We're going to go through another round of public hearings. Yeah. And people are going to be saying the same thing. That they want choice.
You know what? There's a lack of political will going on right now here. And it's just not going to break. I mean,
Joe,
we'll have to make that decision.
Do you think that it goes back to what I was saying about maybe people didn't know? Because
the people that knew are the ones that are down at the Guam Congress building.
Right. But remember, we had this resolution from the mayors. We had this petition with, I think, couple thousand signatures on it. So the demand was there. It was there before COVID, and I think what ended up happening is I don't know if the retirees and the employees really understand what was at stake here, and maybe they thought that they were gonna deal with it after the COVID, and I don't know. I mean, your column went out there. People have been talking about it. We were talking about it last week. Do you think people now are a little more aware of what just happened?
I think so, especially since you spoke about the retirees. And I just wanted to just comment a little bit about that. When you are a retiree and you're over the age of 70, you seem to think that things are already taken care of. You gave your 40 plus years, your 30 plus years to the government. God rest on us that we're all taken care of in our health care needs. That has always been the mantra that we always felt as a community of individuals who retired from this government. But what had happened was that these folks who felt that they didn't need to go in because they were either on the $1,500 deductible, the $2,000 deductible, or the supplemental retirement plan, whatever it may be of the three choices you had as a deductible or not. You felt that if you didn't go back to the government, which is retirement, and said, hey, I want status quo, they were expecting, in this point, they were expecting Select Care to be their choice, because that was their choice. But it isn't. They came back and they saw something else. Aetna is a good company. They're a huge company. They've got things that they can offer the people of Guam, but not, sometimes when you look at off-island versus on-island, the bird in hand rather than the two in the bush. The two in the bush is off-island. The bird in hand is here. We've had Stay Well, we've had Pacific Care, we've got Net Care, we've got Select Care, and all the cares in the world. But people here in Guam have a cultural sensitivity to Inakamali. They have a face on the other side right then and there that makes decisions locally. And that doesn't seem to be the case currently for a lot of folks who are waiting in line, who are hurting and are saying, hey, we're not saying bad things about Aetna, but we have a choice, and some of us don't want Aetna. We want a choice. And that is not to hurt anybody, but choice.
I mean, maybe it's not that they don't want it, and maybe they just want someone else.
I think at this point, the real choice is going to be when people head to the polls.
Absolutely.
I mean, I don't see this being resolved right now.
I see some folks going down. I hate to say it, but it's the God honest truth. I mean, I'm not the only person that votes, but there's a lot of people out there who have a lot of hinging on this whole situation of, hey, how does this impact our community at large? Healthcare is paramount. Education is paramount. Safety is paramount. See the top three of the tiers? Well, one of the tiers is hurting right now, and it hurts both private and public.
Well, people need to start paying attention. Don't let everything that's happening with the COVID or
I think
BLM
now,
distract
right.
you from some of the issues that are happening right in front of our faces, but we just aren't paying attention. So you need to care.
Yeah, and I want to say over and over again, choice is paramount here. Whether you want an off-island provider or an on-island provider, they're both great providers. Let's be honest, they're good. They're good folks, and we want them to continue having interest in us because it will drive the cost down. We don't want to hurt Aetna. We don't want to hurt anybody locally. We want to drive that pool so that we can lower our rates. And you know what? Here's the thing. If the pool says on one side that you want me by choice, but I'm more expensive than Aetna, then you got to shoulder that burden. You have to. The private sector is doing it for God's sake. Guam should do the same.
I thought it was interesting, Joe, when Aetna, they tried to have some kind of like informational hearing with Aetna, and the senators were told like, oh, we can't answer anything. You got to write it, and we got to send it off to the main headquarters, and they were okay with it. But then when the governor's legal counsel came down for an oversight hearing, and they did the exact same thing, everyone got mad, and I just was like, where's the consistency?
Well, you know what? Let's be fair here. We've got a huge company, a multi-billion-dollar corporation that has great interest in Guam and the people of Guam, and I have no problems with that. Really, 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 I don't. I think that's great. I mean, when are you going to get that opportunity again in the future? We don't want to kick people out who want to show interest in Guam. And if it means increasing the pool, why not? But right now, we're not increasing the pool.
Yeah.
What's the next move, Joe? Are you just going to keep making noise about this until Election Day? Or because I know Senator Pito had said that in the clip we just played that he might reintroduce the bill. I don't know which amendments he was referring to that he would put in there.
You know, it's like lawyers. You put 10 in the room, they have 10 freaking different opinions. So you got 15 senators down there. They all have their opinion. One says it won't work, the other will. I mean, when does this come in to a consensus? When does it? When? I can't speak for 15, but I can speak for my vote. That's all I can tell you. And the people of Guam need to look at this. This is not a Guam issue alone. This is an entire community issue because it impacts the private sector and how they end up paying for premiums. Because it is, after all, the taxpayers paying a lot of these premiums. You know, because the Guam employee just pays a little. But where do you think the greater amount of money for the premiums comes on the side of the government? The taxpayers, for God's sakes. And we got to start thinking about that. They're helping us.
Your prediction, Joe, you think that they'll discuss this, a new bill will be introduced before the election?
They could do what they want, but it's not going to happen. Nothing's going to change unless they have a consensus for change.
Right.
And that means hold her down. I'm not a Republican. I'm not a Democrat. I'm concerned about you. And let's be honest. Take care of everybody that has an interest to service the public. And those insurance companies have an interest. Why not? And to be fair, to be honestly fair, why would you try to throw this in when already the bid applications were put in? You can't touch the current. You can't hurt the current bidding process just because you think you want choice. Hey, everybody in hell wants ice water too. So you can't do that. You got to do it for the following year. You have to. You got to be fair to everybody. You can't do everything, you know, on a spur of the moment. You've got to be fair. So,
I mean, but on the flip side again, Joe, this is something that we were supposed to discuss, you know, way before COVID, but then the COVID happened. So I can see why they would want to entertain it. I mean, it's relevant. Hey, you know what you said about everybody in hell wants ice water? I think part of the problem here is that some people want iced tea.
sweetened or unsweetened?
Yeah.
Issue that the legislature has. Do you want sweetened or unsweetened?
I like my sweets, that's for sure.
Well, God bless you all.
Well, thank you, Joe.
Guam.
Right
Okay,
on.
take care.
Wash your hands.
Okay, bye.
Okay, bye. Joe Cameron there, 9:09. Hey, we're taking a little break, and we're back with more of the KUAM News Takeover, Guam's favorite. We're going to try and squeeze in as many guests as we can in the next 50 minutes of broadcast extravaganza for you guys here. Good morning.
Keeping you informed, KUAM News brings you Banking 671, brought to you by the Bank of Guam, the People's Bank, and Coast 360 Federal Credit Union. Together, we thrive.
KUAM News COVID-19 Takeover on I-94 FM is presented locally by Ambrose Inc.
GU Self-Storage, conveniently located near the Harmon McDonald's. We offer affordable rates, online payments, and auto bill pay for your convenience. Plus, gate access daily from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. Call us today at 648-7867 for more information.
With the new challenges we're all facing, First Hawaiian Bank wants to make sure you have access to your financial world. With FHB Online and our mobile app, we hope to make banking the least of your worries. Visit fhb.com/digital.
We hope that you and your loved ones are safe and healthy during the COVID-19 pandemic. It has been a challenging time for all, but now, more than ever, our cancer patients and caregivers need us. Although we are apart, we stand united in the fight against cancer. The American Cancer Society Guam is excited to announce our first virtual Relay for Life. Join us on Saturday, June 27th at 6:30 p.m. on KUAM TV 8, as well as on I-94 FM and streaming on KUAM News digital platforms. Cancer does not stop, and neither can we. On June 27th, let's celebrate together and fight cancer. Visit relayforlife.org/GuamGU to find out how you can participate in the 2020 virtual Relay for Life Guam.
Be healthy. Be informed with ITD.
It's not always easy trying something new. Sometimes you have to help your loved ones along. Nana is so used to her weekly trips to the bank that going online can be a little scary for her. But her grandson knows that banking online is safer and easier. So he's teaching her how to get started using Bank of Guam's online banking videos. Teaching is one way to show our loved ones we care. Keep your family safe at home and show them how to bank online. Find easy-to-use online banking tutorials at bankofguam.com or on our Instagram and Facebook pages. Bank of Guam.
Be healthy. Be informed with ITD. Be healthy. Be informed with ITD.
is 9:15. Morning. Well, so we had an executive order come out.
Which one? There's so many that come out.
This one opened and provided
traveling
guidelines.
Guidelines
for
reopening. Okay.
Gyms and food courts.
Right, and fitness facilities, and water parks, pools.
Nice. I only read the first half. I missed all the water parks and the pools.
Yeah, that was what
God, you know, that's such a shame because the COVID, I can't get into my Speedos anymore.
Thank God.
Yep. Hey. You don't have anything nice to say? Let me turn off your mic.
Okay.
9:16. So, yeah, and talking about reopenings of gyms, because it was a weird one when they had said we're reopening gyms, but we're not reopening gyms.
It was reopening as
group-led fitness or something.
CrossFit, dance, except
Pilates.
for yoga.
Right.
But not gyms. So.
But today, the gyms are opening. That's what I had to ask Mike. We got Mike Scrow from Paradise Fitness Center. And Mike, so accurate to say you guys are open today at Paradise Fitness, right?
Yes, sir, we are.
Hey.
Good morning, Guam.
Good morning, man.
Hi, Chris.
Yeah,
Good
man.
morning.
Long time, and I follow you guys on Instagram and your Instagram, and I've seen that you guys have been really doing a lot of prep. You did some trainings with the staff, and you guys can follow
tutorial too.
Right, you guys can follow Paradise Fitness, or even Mikey if you want on Instagram, and you'll see that this is something that the EO might have come out over the weekend, but this is something you guys have been working on for more than a minute, right?
Yes, it's been a process of patience and perseverance. 80 days closed in our 24 years of business on the island of Guam, and we were closed for 80 days as of yesterday, but today we are back in the game. Paradise is open, all 3 locations. Agana, Dedido, and Tumon are ready to go. We opened at 6 a.m. today, and we've had a great turnout thus far.
Yeah.
Nice.
I can totally feel the 80 days. Whoa.
Well, now that you put it that way, I didn't know how many days. 80 cheat days, Mike. Is that what you're seeing when people are coming
80 days. It's 80 days since we've closed on March 20th. But, it's been a lot of communications and patience with the Governor's Recovery Panel. We've worked hand in hand with them to open up the best way we possibly could. And, we totally understand during this pandemic, everything changes every day, right? And it's a lot of back and forth, but I think, the governor and her team has done a good job in flattening the curve. And I just want to give a shout out to the Recovery Panel and everyone who's working tirelessly to open up their economy. And as a community, we need to be patient, and gradually it's going to get back to this new norm that everyone's talking about. But, even KUAM, you guys have been awesome in keeping everyone updated and with the news, and I've been tuning in, so I was excited to tune in with you guys today.
Thanks, Mike.
Oh, no, I was going to say if you could take us through the Paradise Fitness's gradual reopening from the 3 different fitness facilities, because I know I saw it on social media that you guys have limited hours, and you're taking time also to sanitize and disinfect the facilities.
Yeah, so we have, between our 3 locations, we have temporary reduced hours of operation where we have a midday sanitation break. We've invested in our own fogging machines that we're going to be misting throughout the midday to sanitize and clean and disinfect. But we're opening at 6 a.m. all locations. We close at 1:30 and then open back up at 4 p.m. till 10 p.m. Dedido is 10 p.m. Then, of course, Tumon and Agana is going to be 8 p.m. We're going to have limited occupancy due to social distancing and safe distance regulations, right? So it's going to be 60 at a time in Agana, 40 in Tumon, and 80 in Dedido. And that's just temporary, just as we slowly, gradually get back again to this new landscape. But, we're ready. Our classes are going to start June 15th. We're going to have a morning class and an evening class. We're still waiting on guidance about our kids club. Obviously, daycares and kids club hasn't got the green light to open yet.
Right.
And, that's pretty much what we got going on right now. And, this morning we had a lot of members coming in excited, wearing their mask upon entry, and it's not mandatory to wear a mask while you're exercising for our local mandated guidelines with public health. You could remove your mask as you're exercising to comfortably breathe.
Right.
But of course, we're going to recommend to wear it as much as you can to keep you safe and everyone else safe while there isn't a vaccine right now.
Right. So what are we saying? People are coming in, and you've got your employees standing by the machines and spraying them down? Or
how's it work?
What's the protocol?
So our floor walks, of course, we have our wipe down and floor walks, our mic announcements, but we do have fitness attendants sanitizing throughout the facility. We have our sanitizing stations at every area within the club. We've always had sanitizing stations on the walls in every area, but now we put one right in the walkway. We're doing every other cardio machine. We have our decals in our group fitness studio to have it 6 feet apart. And then, of course, our check-in process, we have someone who's opening the door for them with a hand sanitizer dispenser right there, and then we get their temperature. It's no mask, no entry, and we are giving complimentary Paradise Fitness masks to the first few members that are coming into the facility, and then we have complimentary medical grade masks for people. But it looks like the community has embraced this new landscape, and they're already coming in with their masks, which we really appreciate. And we just thank everyone for being patient with us the last 80 days, but we're back in action. So
you sound fired up, Mikey.
I am fired up, Chris. I can't wait to see you in there so we can go to the beach in your Speedos.
Ooh, sounds like a challenge.
I think I got to diet down just a little bit, man, before we start wearing the Speedos in public.
Are you seeing a lot of different post quarantine bodies that need some work?
Oh, no, I totally understand. Our members, man, everyone had cabin fever. There's only so much you could do at home. During that time, of course, we had our live Facebook classes.
Yeah. Right.
Big shout out to our group fitness instructors who donated their time as a community outreach for our member base, and we did that on Facebook, of course. We had a weekly newsletter that we launched, and we were just in contact and try to motivate our members as best as we could while everyone was on quarantine and lockdown. So, we're glad to come out of this. And we want to move forward, and I think it really takes the whole community to come together and embrace this new etiquette and practice good habits, right? And that's what it comes down to.
I mean, these are habits that are, you're right, they're actually good habits that, hey, I don't mind. Okay, we're going to sanitize everything. Oh, shoot, I'm down.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Mikey, what kind of workouts are people doing, with that 80-day layoff? I'm curious, when they come into their paradise spot, what are some of the workouts that you're seeing that your members are excited to get back into doing?
We have a large, two large facilities in Dedido and Agani, and then our modern boutique in Tumon. And so far, everyone's, of course, going to cardio. They're going to the free weights, our circuit line. We have our performance lab area upstairs. The group fitness classes, again, are not going to start until June 15th. We did put out a schedule. And if you have questions, just email us at getfit@guamparadisefitness.com, or we have our phone directory if you call any of our locations. But you could just tell people are ready to get after it, ready to be healthy, and you could tell that this is an essential role in their lives Paradise plays, for their physical and mental health. I could tell some of the callers calling in, they're having mental breakdowns, and they're physically wanting to
they just don't know it, right?
Yeah, and that's what it comes down to is, people have to realize it's a gradual open. It's not going to change and go back to the normality of what we're used to with the snap of a finger. Mm-hmm. And I think patience and perseverance is what I keep preaching to our team. And during our training and role playing, we know there's going to be members that are going to be frustrated, but it's us opening our doors is going to be a big relief, I think, for the island and for the people of Guam.
Nice, and that's why I wanted to get you on, Mikey, because we've been following your journey, and just happy for you guys to be able to open this morning.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. And kudos to the KUM family. You guys have done a great job during this quarantine, working hard. I know you guys have been nonstop communicating with the island on all your platforms. So kudos to you guys and great job.
Thank you, Mikey. Anything else you want to throw out there in closing?
I wanted to ask about, so do you guys still have personal trainers? Is that still...
Yeah, so last week we did a soft opening. We were only open for one-on-one personal training, so it was nice. The personal trainers and their clients had the whole facility in Agana to themselves for at least a week to jumpstart their programs. A lot of these people had paid sessions already. We froze all of our members' accounts. We waived all of their membership fees for April and May. We gave them 3 months if they paid in full for the whole year. We gave them 3 free months to their expiration date. So as far as what we've done for our members, that's been a big help. You could tell during these tough transitions and hardships for everyone. We decided to freeze their membership, waive their fees, and give them 3 free months. So they were very appreciative to come in early, before the rush.
Nice.
Well, again, final comments.
So I wanted to, give a shout out, of course, to the governor and lieutenant governor and the front line and the physicians advisory group and everyone who's tirelessly trying to open up the economy in a safe way. And, thank you to my team and our management team and all of our staff who's really embraced this new training and this new landscape that we're moving into in the service industry. And I think all businesses have to grasp on that and come together as a small island to move forward and persevere through this transition.
Right, turn those lemons into lemon finadeni.
Yes, and don't forget to wash your hands. And don't forget to wash your feet because your feet is your hands of your legs.
Yeah, that was
You have been listening.
Yeah.
I've been tuning in every morning. When I caught that, I was like, I'm gonna have to do that.
Gonna use that, yeah. Right on. Hey, thank you, Mikey, so much, man.
Exercise is medicine.
Right.
I remember seeing that on the door.
Sure.
Amen.
We'll see you guys soon. Thank you.
All right.
You got it. Okay.
Take care.
Don't forget you invited us. Okay, buddy. Wash your hands.
Bye.
Paradise is open.
Yeah, people are, I mean, it's kind of weird because, before COVID, who doesn't just not like work, right? I know we all say we love our job, but even if you love your job, there's a point where you just don't love your job. But
what?
Now we're seeing people that are just like so. You hear it. He's just like, yeah, let's do this, man.
Yeah.
He's been pumped. If you follow their
Paradise,
social media,
you gotta follow Paradise Fitness on social media.
All right, 9:27. We're gonna take another short break, and we're coming back with. We'll keep it kind of on this active kick, and we're gonna get. I called him a hiking guru because I didn't really know what to put for his title, but we'll get Dave Lotz on the show and catch up with some of the things that. He's been doing and any recommendations.
Hiking guru.
Take a hike. That's next on Containing COVID. Good morning.
Get through being boxed in with
Keeping you informed, KUAM News brings you Banking 671, brought to you by the Bank of Guam, the People's Bank, and Coast 360 Federal Credit Union. Together, we thrive.
KUAM News COVID-19 Takeover on I-94 FM is presented locally by Ambrose Inc.
GU Self-Storage, conveniently located near the Harmon McDonald's. We offer affordable rates, online payments, and auto bill pay for your convenience. Plus, gate access daily from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. Call us today at 648-7867 for more information.
With the new challenges we're all facing, First Hawaiian Bank wants to make sure you have access to your financial world. With FHB Online and our mobile app, we hope to make banking the least of your worries. Visit fhb.com/digital.
We hope that you and your loved ones are safe and healthy during the COVID-19 pandemic. It has been a challenging time for all, but now, more than ever, our cancer patients and caregivers need us. Although we are apart, we stand united in the fight against cancer. The American Cancer Society Guam is excited to announce our first virtual Relay for Life. Join us on Saturday, June 27th at 6:30 p.m. on KUAM TV 8, as well as on I-94 FM and streaming on KUAM News digital platforms. Cancer does not stop, and neither can we. On June 27th, let's celebrate together and fight cancer. Visit relayforlife.org/GuamGU to find out how you can participate in the 2020 Virtual Relay for Life Guam.
Be healthy. Be informed with ITD.
It's not always easy trying something new. Sometimes you have to help your loved ones along. Nana is so used to her weekly trips to the bank that going online can be a little scary for her. But her grandson knows that banking online is safer and easier. So he's teaching her how to get started using Bank of Guam's online banking videos. Teaching is one way to show our loved ones we care. Keep your family safe at home and show them how to bank online. Find easy-to-use online banking tutorials at bankofguam.com or on our Instagram and Facebook pages. Bank of
A little bit of love and half a day. Two of my favorite ingredients. Good morning, it's Monday. Love and half a day.
Oh, I thought you were talking like food.
You ever try putting a little extra half a day in your cooking? Works wonders. That's what I put in there, in case you're wondering what that taste is. It's a little half a day.
Kind of like how I put a little extra in the coffee.
Yeah, we're drinking meth coffee. In the morning. 9:31, containing COVID. Let's go to the phones here and get Dave Lotz on. Good morning, Dave.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning.
Chris,
Good to talk to both of you.
Yeah.
Half a day.
Half a day.
I guess we just start with this. Your appointment wasn't going to be renewed, and then you were able to. I heard you met with the governor, and so now you've been reappointed to your position on which of the historical boards is it, Dave?
Well, first of all, I do want to commend the governor. She invited me in, and we had a long, serious discussion, and so I do want to thank her. But I also want to thank a lot of the friends that have supported me on this. This is a rather unique board. It's officially the Guam Historic Preservation Review Board, but it also serves as a board for the Guam Preservation Trust, which is a non-profit government of Guam entity. The interesting thing about this board is when it fulfills its function as a review board, and therefore the membership is dictated by specific disciplines. These include the regular historic preservation disciplines of archaeology, architecture, and history. And then also our local law thought it was appropriate to add to that disciplines of Chamorro culture and planning. I happen to hold the primary planning position. It's also rather interesting that this board has alternate representatives, so when, say, a primary is not available for the meeting, we have alternates that are also go through the same appointment and confirmation process to also help the board in its continuity to function.
And you've been on this board, right, for quite some time, right?
This will be my third appointment. So each one is for 4 years. So yes, I've been there
for more than a decade. And so what was it? Because I think I saw it online on your Facebook page. Gosh, I want to say maybe over a month ago, I think, where you were expressing your, I guess you could say, disappointment that you weren't reappointed, or it appeared that you were going to be replaced.
And then I believe one of the media had asked the governor in a press conference if she was going to replace you, and the short answer was yes. I think it literally went down like that.
Well, I did see that. It was one of the early afternoon, basically COVID-19 briefings that the governor's been giving, and when she opened up for questions, that came up. But events and decisions have moved beyond that.
Right. And how did this happen? If she had publicly disclosed that it didn't appear that you were going to be reappointed, and you said that she had called you up to schedule a meeting?
Yes, her office called me up and asked that I come by and talk with her, which I did.
And after that meeting, you were reappointed. I mean, was she just concerned about, what was she concerned about in terms of not wanting to reappoint you?
Or was it a miscommunication or something?
I don't know if I can give you all the specific background on that. It might be more appropriate to get that from the governor's office. But I just explained my interest in historic preservation and some viewpoints on some timely topics.
And you know, that's something I want to kind of talk about, Dave, because I've enjoyed this, and I don't know how to label it. I don't know if because I haven't known you my whole life, but it kind of seems just coming from me, and I try to pay attention, but this late life activism that we're seeing come out from you, and again, I don't know if it's accurate, but I've read, the hiking things. You've always been like the hiking guy. You've always had the books out, the trails and everything, and some of the stances that you've made in the last few years in terms of the military buildup, in terms of, like you said, historic preservation. I've loved that you've been very vocal.
Well, I do appreciate that, and I don't know if I would say it's all late life. There's a lot that I've been able to do when I had positions in the government of Guam and also the federal government.
Right.
Working internally, you can get some things done. But I do want to go back that in 1978 or 79, the Navy decided they needed a new ammunition pier, and they wanted to put it actually at the tip of Arodi Peninsula, where you have that Arodi Island and you have that lovely channel to snorkel in. I led a group in those days called Save Arodi's Beauty that had a lot of impact, and now you see the wharf has been moved inland on Arodi Peninsula to actually geographically to Adogan Point. So, and where things are appropriate, I think all of us need to express our viewpoints, and it's basically, we tend to think it's for the good of the island, and it's interesting on this military buildup issue. It's not that people are just against the military. It's just there are things the military wants to do that are not in our best interest and actually in the military's best interest. I'll go back to that Arodi Point ammunition pier. If they had put a slip as they had planned between the peninsula itself and Arodi Island, they could not have gotten ships in there because of the offshore currents and seas. So we actually forced them to come up with a better product.
Right.
Sometimes they just get up ahead of steam and don't quite understand what they're doing. And, too often decisions are being made off island. And I want to go to today. It seems like the COVID-19 has dominated the news, and it is a very, very important subject. But now, last week's Pacific Daily News had a nice little official ad that the Navy's finalized their MIT, environmental impact statement, and we also had some news coverage that the agreement between the Fish and Wildlife Service, the Geological Survey, and the Navy over basically the Navy taking control of half of what the Fish and Wildlife Service owns at Retidian Point, and that was done with virtually no input from the people of Guam. And when I met with the governor, I asked her about that, and she said she was informed of that but was not even requested to provide any input. So we've got some things happening that the Navy just keeps moving along, and it seems with the legitimate concern on COVID-19, I don't see why these issues can't be put aside until we can give more appropriate attention to that.
I think part of it is that the governor declared construction an essential activity at the beginning of the COVID. So construction, whether it's outside the fence line or inside the military fence line, never stopped. I know that she also said that at one of the press conferences. She said something along the lines of, as we speak, they're doing construction right now. And so that's why stuff has continued to move forward. But I agree. I think at the moment where we shut down our government and we said, oh, the SHPO is not essential. Guam EPA is not essential. All these agencies that have a stake in policing and reviewing what the military is doing or not doing. You're right. I think that the minute we shut their doors, we should just put a pause on everything.
Well, I think particularly that the planning aspects. Now, I understand once the military has construction contracts, there are going to be all sorts of other factors if it said just immediately halt construction. And as from a planning environmental point of view, those decisions have been made. So whether the shovel's in the ground this week or next month, it's been determined. A couple other aspects we've lost track of, and I believe they've both been deferred, but I cannot specifically state that I'm aware of this, is there was supposed to have been the annual military buildup programmatic agreement under historic preservation last month, and also there's supposed to be ongoing discussions relative to the MIT programmatic agreement. Now, I can only hope that those have been officially postponed, but we don't have that assurance.
Right.
So what are we doing now to reach out to the military and find out what they've been doing and what they've been up to? Are those discussions underway?
I'm actually unaware of that at this time. I think it might be appropriate for that question to be placed to the governor and the Guam Historic Preservation Officer.
Right.
Those would be the
Well,
legitimate.
Is there?
I mean, you know things, Dave. I mean, is the SHPO out there doing things? I mean, I assume they are now because we're reopened.
Well, that's a good question, and by the nature of the board I'm on, it doesn't have that oversight responsibility. It has specific legal functions that does not make it a management board such as you have at Guam Power Authority or other entities. So it has limited functions. It doesn't get into that aspect. It's rather limited. I don't mean to dodge a question, but
no, you're not. Yeah, Dave, I don't think you're a question dodger.
Okay.
Let me ask you this though, because this is something we had talked about last week. What was this talk about Dave Lott's and a senatorial run?
I've actually had a lot of people suggest that, and I appreciate their support. But I'm even though I go hiking, and I went hiking yesterday. I guess it's something to consider, but I'm actually a bit more concerned about. I got some health concerns.
I mean, but Dave, it can't be any harder. Being a senator, it can't be any harder than some of the hikes I see. You just went on some hikes this weekend that was more work than any of these senators did in a year.
Well, but you look at
some
what
of them.
Senators do. I suspect they put in 10 to 12-hour days, and I'll commend them. And by the nature of Guam's politics, an awful lot of it is social obligations.
Right.
If you invite a senator to a function you're having and they don't show up, you don't vote for them next time. That's just the nature of Guam. The positive part is we're a close and open community.
Look what you guys are doing. You guys are alienating people who could be good candidates because they don't want to go to every christening and every
10 to 12
every
hour work
fiesta.
days. Well, that's a lunch break for me. My God.
and then we criticize how much money they make. I wonder how much of it goes back to buying raffle tickets and things for christenings and so on.
No, the pay's got to go up. I agree with you on that.
Well, the pay is a whole other issue. The part-time becomes a whole other issue. I think both of them are distractions, but I think what we need is how do we make this attractive for the people we want to get there? Because the bottom line, and I think in general, when you see the 30 people that are on the ballot, I think overall in general, we probably choose the best 15.
I never vote for more than 5, Dave.
Well, okay. I don't think I voted for all 15, but
I mean, and by the time I get to 4 or 5, I'm really, really stretching.
But I mean, in general, our system only works by the people we put there, and if we don't like those people there, well, then look what we got coming in November.
Yeah.
September, right?
Yeah.
Or is it end of August? The primary.
Well, there's a primary.
Yeah.
We whittle it down from whatever it is to 15 on each side, and then. So, anyways, I do want to say a few things about hiking.
Yeah, that's what we're.
It's a great way to get out and be healthy in this crisis and learn about Guam. You go hiking, you learn about our historic sites, our natural resources. It makes people motivated to protect them. But I've been going hiking. I've been going in very small groups. I think I had 4 people yesterday, and basically as a protection. And then we space ourselves out even on the trail.
Oh.
So just keep those ideas in mind. Keep your social spacing, no matter what activities you're engaged in.
Right.
So there was really no need to change any sort of protocols post-COVID for hiking?
I mean, do you wear a mask or what?
I'm not wearing a mask on the trail, but before that, I will do it, and I've also told people very politely, I won't pick them up and have them go to my car. In my car, you just come to the trailhead, and they understand. So, but once you space yourself out, hey, you're outdoors in the nice breeze, and that's a bit different than shopping in the store.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. So, Dave, in all your years of hiking, this is kind of a loaded question, and it's also a cheap attempt to wrap up with you. What are maybe a couple of the things that really stick out? Because, I mean, God, you've been hiking for...
Oh, and it was like your favorite hike.
Like, what, 50 years, Dave? Is that right?
Hey, you've hit something else. I came to Guam in the Navy on June 27th, 1970.
Wow.
So I got to have a party somewhere on the 27th.
Oh.
Well, yeah. Now, can I be one of the 24? You got to do raffle tickets for this thing, Dave.
Oh, now I'm starting something here.
Right? Yeah.
Well, but I'll have to have both of you come on the hike then.
I want to. Yeah,
okay,
definitely.
yes.
When we do something for the TV side. But Dave, yeah, again, what is one story that you think summarizes why you go hiking and why you encourage other people to do it?
I'm probably just going to reiterate the fact that it's a great way to learn about the island and motivate yourself. And I don't know. I've hiked all over a lot of places during my life. Even when I was going to college in Colorado, I went up to Rocky Mountain National Park and went hiking. So it's a challenge, but it's you challenge yourself and then you achieve something and you made a good day.
Well, what would you say is on all the hiking trails that you've been here on Guam is, I guess, Guam's best kept secret, I guess?
They're probably not so well best kept since they're in my book.
Okay. Well, which one would you highly recommend?
My favorite's Inaran Falls, and after that, Hilan Lost Pond.
Right.
Hilan Lost Pond.
But relating this to the military buildup, there's some great places to go on the military bases, but they've shut down their public access program due to the COVID crisis. But even before that, I've been very critical. Their public access program has too much
a lot of hoops,
bureaucratic.
Yeah. No, Dave, and I know because we had there was a story we did when they put out they're going to do a bunch of stuff at Fina Reservoir, right, with more bunkers, and it involved and part of the discussion was the laddie sets that they have down there at Fena, which I'm sure you've seen. And so I had called up Joint Region or one of the military, I forget which three-letter military group it was, but I was like, oh, hey, and it plays on the military channel. It says, hey, if you want to go see these sites, call this number and find out. So that's exactly what I did, because I figured, hey, if I'm going to tell people about these awesome free contact laddie sites, then I want to show them. And then you're right, if people see it, they care more. But, unfortunately, there are no tours. There are not even any pictures. Like, I asked the military, can you give me some, freaking pictures of the stuff, maybe? And there's nothing. So, you're right, public access, not where it should be.
And, the Navy, as far as I'm concerned, they hid a project name in their programmatic agreement and said there'll be adverse impact to this site, which turned out to be Magua Village.
Right. Yeah.
Keeping the information from the people, to me, is somewhat it's deliberate. If the people don't know it's their resource, then there's going to be less opposition.
Where are we with Magua?
Pardon?
Magua. What? Do you have an update on Magua?
That's up at NCS.
Right.
Nick
Right.
Dams.
I remember. I think you may have brought the
He was the
issue
guy
to light,
who
right?
found out
with
it was
the
bulldozed.
Right. Yeah. So, do you know what is the update on Magua?
It's been destroyed.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
There's-
after you brought this to light,
Yeah.
has there been anything that's been done?
Well, there's been some artifact recovery and archaeology reports, and but and then I think we clearly did the wrong thing by buying into a redepository where you can put these artifacts in boxes and bags and put them on shelves. That's not really the same as actually visiting the place where people lived in the environment. And I've been working on a little paper. I should get this out sometime soon, more or less looking for a right forum to give you a clear perspective on the significance of an upland interior village. But people want to go see these places. They don't want to go read reports or visit artifacts. They're not the same thing. Historic preservation is just that, historic preservation.
Right.
And a little anecdotal comment. I had a job at Anderson dealing with preserving heritage, cultural, natural resources, and I remember when they floated the idea of a public access program. Great idea. And then I got the proposed regulations, and I was so upset I wrote back and said, whoever wrote this doesn't want it to happen. This was written into the programmatic agreement in 2011, and the Admiral Joint Region did not sign off on the regulations in 2015. So, 4 years later, it just gives you an indication on some real, to me, lack of commitments.
Right, yeah. And that's kind of been what's tempered the whole process. Dave, thank you so much for your time. Now that we've done this, got the first time over with, let's bring you on every once in a while. I really like your perspective, and I think it's something that needs to be heard more.
Yeah, I'll be happy to. Just give me a heads up.
I know.
We'll do it.
I got to give you 3 days advance notice, and then call once, let it ring twice, hang up, let it ring 3 times, then call back. Gotcha.
Whatever the system that works.
Right, yeah. Thank you, Dave.
Thanks,
Hey, have a great day.
You
Bye.
too. Yeah, wash your hands. Okay, Dave Lotz there. Hey, we're going to take a little break and come back and end this show on a good note. Again, it's the KUAM News Takeover, Guam's favorite, containing COVID. Good morning.
Be healthy. Be informed with ITD.
Keeping you informed, KUAM News brings you Banking 671, brought to you by the Bank of Guam, the People's Bank, and Coast 360 Federal Credit Union. Together, we thrive.
KUAM News COVID-19 Takeover on I-94 FM is presented locally by Ambrose Inc.
GU Self-Storage, conveniently located near the Harmon McDonald's. We offer affordable rates, online payments, and auto bill pay for your convenience. Plus gate access daily from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. Call us today at 648-7867 for more information.
With the new challenges we're all facing, First Hawaiian Bank wants to make sure you have access to your financial world. With FHB Online and our mobile app, we hope to make banking the least of your worries. Visit fhb.com/digital.
We hope that you and your loved ones are safe and healthy during the COVID-19 pandemic. It has been a challenging time for all, but now, more than ever, our cancer patients and caregivers need us. Although we are apart, we stand united in the fight against cancer. The American Cancer Society Guam is excited to announce our first virtual Relay for Life. Join us on Saturday, June 27th at 6:30 p.m. on KUAM TV 8, as well as on I-94 FM and streaming on KUAM News digital platforms. Cancer does not stop, and neither can we. On June 27th, let's celebrate together and fight cancer. Visit relayforlife.org/GuamGU to find out how you can participate in the 2020 virtual Relay for Life Guam.
Be healthy. Be informed with ITD.
On Facebook, Bree and Chris open the discussion with the latest headlines in banking, relief funds, and assistance. Tune in and be in the know with Banking 671. Brought to you by Bank of Guam, the People's Bank, and Coast 360 Federal Credit Union. Together, we thrive.
New value at Wendy's. Spaghetti combo meals featuring spaghetti with meat sauce, fries, and a drink for only $5. Or if you want biggie value, $8 gets you double spaghetti, large fries, and a 42-ounce drink. Hearty meat sauce spaghetti combos at Wendy's. Now that's better.
Going out to all my Palau people getting tested.
Yeah, testing today from 9 to 11 at Central Public Health Facility in Barrigada. You don't need any symptoms to be tested. It is absolutely free. So please go out there and get tested.
I know you guys like stuff that's free. Well, here you go. Monday, 9:58. This is Elway Akeda. Killer. Good morning, Monday, the 8th of June.
You're slowly practicing your moves for the Relay for Life TikTok video challenge that we're going to be putting together.
I'm really not a dancer.
Yeah, you are. You were moving and grooving. I saw you.
No, unless I'm pretending to be a dancer. Like if I role play and I say, okay, I'm a ballerina, then I can feel it and I get into it. But if I'm really trying to like dance for real, like in a social setting, no. Yeah. Not even the cha-cha. Like, dude, I struggle with the cha-cha. Unless I'm pretending to be
a cha-cha dancer.
Yeah, it's weird. I don't know. That was a little too much insight into my personality there. 9:59. Hey, let's end this show on a good note after everything we've discussed this morning. And again, it's never a difficult time to find somebody out there who's making a good difference in our community because we're really just an island populated with people like that. And this group and this guy has been on a few times. So just first of all, Cyrus, I want to commend you guys for doing all kinds of great work, whether it's with GAIN or PPE Guam. And we're bringing you on for PPE Guam. So good morning, Cyrus Lure.
Morning.
And we're going to pop up these pictures here. So you guys did a mask repair drive over the weekend. Now tell us a little bit about, just start to finish, what prompted the need for this, where you guys decided, hey, this is something we could do, and how it went, and then the response afterwards, Cyrus.
Absolutely. This is the second time that we've done this. We've been working very closely with the folks at GMH in trying to make some PPE for their staff to use. And they have an inventory of about 7,500 old N95 masks that are from the national inventory. But we found that the band that holds it to your head has been disintegrating over time. And this is from an old inventory. This is a problem that is common around the country. A lot of hospitals are finding this. And so Tufts University put together a methodology for replacing the band. And so we were following those steps and working with GMH. We organized on Saturdays 1.5 hour shifts throughout the day where people would come in and would set them up in teams of 5, would maintain social distancing, and would just spend an hour and a half replacing the band on the mask. And so on each of these days, we did over 1,500 mask repairs. These are full quality N95 masks. They're single use, high enough quality to use on the front lines. The only problem was the band didn't work. Mm-hmm. And so just with the help of over 50 volunteers on each day, we were able to so far repair about 3,000 masks. And we're looking to continue so we can finish the 7,000. One interesting thing is in the process of doing all this, we found out that DPHSS has another 7,000 masks that have the exact same problem. So we are now working with both AmeriCorps and DPHSS to organize some additional dates where we can continue to repair these masks, and at the end of all of it, have nearly 15,000 N95 masks ready to go.
Mm-hmm. What does the repair entail, Cyrus?
It's a 5-step process where you essentially just kind of remove the band that's falling off of the mask that has been falling apart, and then we replace it with an elastic band. So you kind of punch the hole, string the new elastic through, add a stopper, tie a square knot, and then kind of repeat. And we provide all the supplies. We provide a quick training, and people will be volunteering alongside. We've even had doctors and nurses stop by and participate as well, and it's just been a very uplifting experience to see people coming out with their families, with their friends, and maintain social distancing and help volunteer to repair these masks.
Why the limit of just what did you say, 1,500? There's just not enough people or to finish it in one day, or?
Pretty much, it's a space limitation. So I mean, it does take time to repair each one because you kind of we want to be careful, make sure we're not putting holes in the wrong spaces and such. Mm-hmm. And so we have found that with an 8 to 10 hour day, hour and a half shifts, and roughly about 15 people per shift, we can get through about 1,500 or 2,000. Just under 1,500. Sorry, just under 2,000 per day.
Okay, so there's 7,000 more. You said, right? When did we just discover these sitting around? I mean, recently?
We've known about these. Mm-hmm. It's an inventory issue that many hospitals around the country have had. The traditional N95s, there's different portions of the inventory depending on the age, and this was sent to us from the federal stockpile years ago, and they found that over time it started disintegrating, but they still kept them on hand in case there's ever a solution. Right. And so thankfully Tufts University came out with a solution. A number of hospitals around the country started doing it just in the last month. Right. And so we decided to give it a shot here, and it's been going really well.
Cyrus, it kind of looks like, in just seeing what type of string you're using, it almost looks like after you repair these masks, they're in a better place than they were when they came off from the manufacturer. It kind of seems like it's a little stronger, the band you're using.
Absolutely, it is actually pretty funny that we end up with a better N95 mask when it's done, because it does have the stopper. It's stronger. So right. Oddly enough, it comes out for the better.
Well, there you go. And that's again why we wanted to bring you on here to share yet again the good work you're doing for the community with your group PPE Guam. And so I want to recognize you for our Monday COVID Hero. Sorry. And, hey, anything else you got going on, don't be shy. Shoot us a note.
Will do. Thank you so much, guys.
Take care.
Keep
All
up
right.
the good work.
Wash your hands. Thank you. All right. There you go. Good job today, Sabrina.
Good job, Chris. Jacob, good job.
Ken St. Nicholas from our digital team. Thank you guys so much. To everybody who listens on the radio, definitely appreciate the support. And again, on our Edward R. Murrow award-winning social media networks, thank you for following the show. What, Nye?
Not Nye. Hoffa.
Oh, Hoffa Nye? Okay, so good job, Bree. Anything in closing you want to throw out there?
No, just for everybody to be kind to one another and have a great day.
There you go. 10:06. Hey, for Sabrina, my name is Chris. Thank you guys so much for listening. It's been the KUAM News Takeover, Guam's favorite containing COVID. Hasta. Adios.
Bye.